Alright, gonna just check real quick and make sure that the YouTube stream is up and running. Should be a moment. 1 second. Please. Well, that sure does sound like a Domino's ad to me. Oh my god, what is with all the ads, bro? There we go. Alright. YouTube stream up and running. Now we start Twitch. Boop. Twitch should now be up and running, so give me 1 moment to double check Twitch. There we go. Oh, would you look at that? I've apparently enabled drops, but I don't actually know how I did that, so kudos to you guys out there if you want to gift subs or anything like that. That's mighty nice of you. I appreciate it. I don't actually know how or why I did that. I definitely added a lot of new icons, so there's that. Let me just put some stuff in over here. I definitely want to wait today for, excuse me, DM Lacara to show up, because we have some things, like, we both have strong feelings about monks, and I've been around so many paladins that I also have strong feelings about paladins. I had a brain fart there thinking of the word for paladin because we had our D&Dversary. Hello, Daisy Luna. I will. Cool. We had our D&Dversary, and I gave Grim and our group a paladin shirt, and the Laundry King got his barbarian shirt. And if you guys, you've seen the Laundry King on this channel scream about who is blue, he's like very absent-minded. He just forgets things all the time. And I was like, I saw this pile of stuff after everyone was gone, and I was like, I wonder whose pile of stuff this is. It has to be the Laundry King's. And like, even before I picked the shirt up and saw that it was the barbarian shirt, I was like, yeah, it's gotta be. There's no way anyone else would leave all their stuff here. Oh no, DM Lacara is gonna be a little bit late. But DM Shin's here. Hi. I didn't hear the bloop. It didn't play the bloop.
I snuck in, you know, very sneaky. I had to use my high-level stealth as I didn't want to come in, and I did also read that DM Lacara is going to be a few minutes late. So I was going to say maybe we hold off because I know DM Lacara is ready to rip this apart with me.
I think we gotta hold off.
But how you doing, DM Lacara? How you doing?
Pretty okay.
I came in with you talking about your D&Dversary. Tell me more.
4 whole years we've been playing. And I guess coincidentally, I also had to wash the floor 4 times after everybody left. I don't know how you can eat a donut and not realize that there's no inside to the donut. You gave it to the floor. But that's how it started. And then after I washed it the first 2 times, I went back in there a couple hours later and I was like, why is it sticky again? And then after everyone left yesterday, I was cleaning the floor again because I realized I was stuck to it. And I was like, why do they not put food in their mouths? Why? But that's where the food
It
goes.
sounds like you had a very Durnin moment.
Mm-hmm. But
you had a very Durnin moment. I'm sorry.
But I mean, one of the really cool things for me, for it being like we don't actually know what day we started playing. We just know we started playing in August and we meet once a month. So August is always our group's D&Dversary. And like right before everyone was supposed to show up, because none of them ever show up on time, I just happened to be on Facebook and I saw one of my sweet mates, not the Laundry King, but Rebel Monster, who we used to play Smite with on the channel a bunch. His group of friends plays D&D all the time. I used to be in a group with them too at some point. But right before everyone was supposed to show up for my D&Dversary, the DM of their group posted a thing and was like, today is our group's 5th year anniversary in my first homebrew world, and it's going to be our last session. Like, today's our send-off for this campaign. And I was like, what are the chances that both of us like have our anniversaries now? Like, what is it about August that people want to start playing D&D?
It's just a good month. It's like summer's ending. You figure people are probably like tapped out of their obligations for the summer. They're like, maybe they have one vacation left. Think you can catch somebody in August. It's like you're not doing anything for the winter. Play some D&D.
Hey, and that's the strategy. You gotta catch someone so that they can be absorbed in it forever. That's how D&Ding works.
It's a dice cult. Okay, guys, it's really a dice cult.
Oh,
we love numbers. Okay.
I feel so bad because I've been telling my group, and I've said it a bunch on this channel too, like the Dragon Eye dice from Spider Mind Games. I've mentioned so many times like how the community like reviles Spider Mind Games because their thing was supposed to be that they have eyeballs in their dice, and they're always supposed to be like precisely placed in the center. None of them came out in the center. And like some of their resin, the colors got messed up, that like they were out in the sun too long, what have you. So like the community's been so angry, just like pure rage and hatred that their dice aren't perfect. And I've been keeping my group like up to date with what's happening with Dragon Eye dice because I think it's funny. Like our group, I was like, if we got these dice, not a single one of us would care if the color was off or if the eyeball in the center wasn't perfectly in the center. Like, no one in my group would care. Yeah. And it just so happened that Grim actually kickstarted those dice for everyone in our group. And he gave us our dice eggs for D&Dversary. And I was like,
that's hilarious.
I'm sorry that I've been telling you how much hate these guys are getting. And everyone's like, we're all like looking at our dice. None of them were perfect. We lucked out as a group in that like what colors we were supposed to get, our dice are all those colors. So like we don't have any of the real major problems. None of our eyes are in the center, but we don't have any of the major problems. And again, everyone in the group, not one person until I said it was like, these are the dice I've been telling you guys about. Was like, oh, after that they're like, oh yeah, my eye is in the center. But we were just like, these are the fucking coolest dice ever. I'm like, yeah, exactly. Like our group just we don't care. We just want dice.
I was like, whatever. It's all good. But I think that's good though that they were still able to like get that kind of like it's hard to create content for D&D that's unique enough that people want to purchase. Let alone back. You know, adventures, from adventures to dice to minis to like maps even, and like all these other different media forms that you can use to amplify your D&D experience. And sometimes people will be like, it's our most accurate. And they'll get like a tree that isn't necessarily as tall as the other trees in this tree line. And someone will be like, well, this affects my Goliath character's 3/4 cover.
It's
Thus,
true.
this is trash. I'm not mad at their passion.
Yeah.
I'm mad that they feel they should punish someone for not noticing a small issue in mass production.
Especially like,
You know?
you figure these dice, like during the pandemic, like no one was sending people over to check. Like you were just getting photos. And if you've ever dealt with a factory, like obviously they're gonna send some cherry-picked photos if they're not sending you physical items. It's like I can't be too upset that they're like, oh, your QA didn't check every die. They probably didn't get a chance to see every die.
Lord knows that's the case in a lot of situations.
Oh, yeah. Like, I have many other problems with Spider-Mine dice. Like, they have a ice cube tray that freezes your ice or whatever else you want to put into it, into Dragon Skulls. And it's like $50 for an ice cube tray. And I'm like, that's what y'all should be mad about. Not that your eyeball is off center.
That's a $20 novelty at best. Because you got 65 of them for 5 cents. Stop it now.
Granted, there are people I want to buy those for, but I would never pay $50 for an ice cube tray.
I mean, to be fair, I also don't want to. I'm also mad that I'm feeling more and more tempted to pay the $40 for the 2024 Player's Handbook. My soul tells me I need to know what's going on in there.
I just saw an article. We will eventually. Actually, this probably won't be. Well, if it comes from backgrounds, we'll get into it on DM Roundtable. But if it's not in backgrounds, we want to. But Wargamer just put out this article about 10 changes in the 2024 Player's Handbook that are just like, why would you do that? And one of them is when you make your character, you can only learn normal languages. When you make a character, none of them can have exotic languages anymore. And I'm like, what if they're not from here?
So we're saying like an ASMR can't know Celestial?
Yeah, like that.
A tiefling can't know Infernal?
I'm like, what why?
Why?
The other one?
That doesn't make sense even. That made me upset, I'm sorry.
No, I 100%. I just started laughing because I was like, oh, the other one that's super weird that they needed to point out is that they've apparently made it canon that elves do not possess body hair. They can have hair on top of their heads, but they don't grow hair anywhere else. And I was like, are you trying to make them the opposite of dwarves? That's weird. But also a weird thing to specify.
What's that? Yeah, I'm trying to figure out at what point in any campaign has a DM had to stop and question the density of body hair on the elf.
To be fair, during D&Dversary,
he opens his shirt He opens his shirt and his chest is hairy. How hairy is it? Roll a D100 for circumference and a D10
The only time I think
density of hair. Like,
anything like
it's never
this
gonna
has
happen.
come up just happened to be during D&Dversary. We were talking about Goliaths, and I was like, I'm pretty sure, even though you can't grow hair on top of your head, that there's gotta be a pubes situation happening. And we got into an argument about it.
Not on an elf, according to Watsy.
It's true.
Watsy said no. Bear. So sorry to everyone and their bearded Henry Cavill elf fantasies, as they can no longer exist since he cannot have his iconic beard.
I do have the absolute highlight of. So I've spoken about this in my campaign before, and I am going to make I was thinking of making it the second episode of Delving into Your DMs, but I feel like we have many more topics to get through before I talk to you guys and gals about Verdans and their mutation charts and stuff. But DM Shin's already heard this, but during D&Dversary, our absolute number one highlight was we were having like a little bit of downtime. And I have to make a new video about this because I realized during the session with the way people were arguing with me about how time passed that I'm 4 years in and like I'm still figuring things out. When you DM, like every session that you play, you're gonna figure new stuff out. That's just, it's not
Absolutely.
like you go in knowing everything.
And you have to definitely be excited for that knowledge that you're going to gain, because sometimes it's something tiny. You know, it's like, oh, a way you could better role play or explain, or even a way to craft your story or dungeon for future reference and purpose. And then sometimes you create like little bridges that you didn't know connected things, and just get like an infinite spider web of thought. And you're like, oh snap, what have I unlocked? So it's good to learn.
Yeah. And like, don't ever take it as like when you're DMing a game, if there's something you didn't know that you just learned or you just figured out, don't take it as like a failure on your part. It is impossible to know every interaction before it happens. It's not a possibility. You're not failing. You're actually improving as you go along.
Yeah.
So I realized 4 years in that I believe one of the reasons why my players are so averse or seem to dislike downtime activities is that my players seem to think that whenever we discuss what they're doing, that only the time in the real world that was taken to discuss what they were doing has passed. That no time in game world has passed for them to act things out. Like, they seem to think the only things that take up in-game time are stuff that must be acted out. And I was like, oh, that makes sense why you guys can't let, like, every time they're like, what time is it? They'll get mad, like, you said this before. And I'm like, yeah, because time passed. And I realized that they didn't understand that time passed. That, like, for their characters to act things out, that would take time. And I was like,
they thought it was kind of just instant because they were in the moment.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, I gotta fix this. This is something that is definitely also my fault. I assumed it was common sense that when you go do things, it takes time. But it is not in-game common sense, apparently.
But, you know, sometimes I think I've run into that too. Sometimes it's the difference between telling someone, you know, give you a quick scenario. telling adventurers, "Oh, I've got this quest for you. There's a keep out in the forest, right? You know, you travel right outside of town, you'll get to it." And you just tell your players, "Would you want to go to it?" "Yeah, okay, cool." You travel down the road, you roll an encounter dice, you get to the thing. But if you say it's a week outside of town, if you then say it's a week outside of town versus just saying it's outside of town, you're implying that to get to this keep, it's going to take a week's worth of time to travel. Whether it's there and back or just there, your party has to infer that from you, the DM. And you kind of hoping that in saying it takes a week's worth of time, it'll take you 4 days. Oh, crafting this will take me several days. You're implying that time's going to pass in the game faster than time is in real life. So yeah, it's a weird thing that extra, those additional words we don't think about at first can add to understanding.
Yeah, there's an adage that, like, if as the DM, if you're being subtle, you're being too subtle. And like, the more I DM, the more I realize it is true. You have to be like incredibly overt, almost to the point where you're giving stuff away. This is not the highlight of D&Dversary, but I had some were-rats who were trying to sneak into town, and I had them kind of broken up into groups. Our group is now terrified of anyone coming into the town that's going to attack them or try to steal from them or what have you. They're terrified at the moment. So they like set up a zone of truth outside, and they have some questions to ask, what have you. But I specifically had these two people. I rolled for these were-rats, and I was like, these two are the most conspicuously weird people you've ever seen. And they are not with any other group. They're just like talking to each other in hushed whispers that aren't actually hushed or whispers. It's kind of like when Grimjack whispers. And,
okay.
And
so open thought.
Yeah, so open thought. And our rogue player, Valley Vageria, is like, okay, I'm going to single them out. I'm going to have a conversation with them. They just seem like they're probably going to do crime and have fun, so I'm going to let them right into the city. And I was like, what? Huh? Hey?
I'm sorry.
Huh?
Can you run that by me again?
She asked them
they
their
seem
question.
Like they're going to do crime?
Yeah. She is totally okay if you're doing crime, as long as it's like not like killing people crime that are her people. She probably won't care if you kill a civilian if she doesn't know them.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, okay.
Hot damn. Okay.
What up, Arvin? And I was like, I feel like I just gave away
Arvin,
a lot,
hey.
and you still let them into the town? All right, that's fine. Sure. Cool.
You know what? Don't even be apologizing if you're watching Steven Universe. Love me some Steven Universe.
Worth it.
Yeah.
But the highlight of D&Dversary by far, so like I said, at some point I'm going to do a delving into your DMs with the mutations table. Tables that we use for our Verdant, because Verdant are supposed to mutate, but there's no like mechanical implementation by default for Verdant on how they're supposed to mutate. So we went online, we found all these mutation tables, what have you. And it's supposed to be brought on by stress and trauma. So I was doing it during like dramatic moments, or if something like really bad happened that they were witness to, I was making our Verdant mutate. And the person who was playing the Verdant with me. Now, I need you guys to understand, I didn't go out and search for these mutation tables. I only found one of them. The Verdant player found 3 more of them from a different RPG and was like, let's use these. So it's not like I just it's not like I just did this myself. They agreed to this, okay? They wanted to play a Verdant, they wanted to mutate. We worked on it. And after like the 4th or 5th mutation, my player was like, "You are making me mutate too much. I don't like this anymore." And I was like, "Oh, okay. You want to get rid of like a tenet of your character? That's fine. How about we do it so that you will mutate once per level?" And they agreed, and everything was fine. And so during D&Dversary, we got to a moment of like just thinking about stuff, and they're trying to work on what new strategies they can come up with. And my Verdant player, who you guys know as Creepshow Kate, she goes, "Hey, I feel like I haven't mutated in a while, so I think I should mutate." And I was like, "Oh, you want to mutate more?" And she was like, "I feel like we've gone through enough stuff. I just watched almost everyone die in the party, and I feel like my character's in a good spot where like there's drama built up. I feel like this is a good spot for me to mutate." And I was like, "Are you sure you want to mutate now?" And Creepshow Kate was like, "Yeah, I want this." And I was like, "Okay." So she rolls for her table, and she's like, "Do I know yet which table is which?" And I was like, "Absolutely not." So the way we run them is she rolls a d4 to figure out which table she's going on, but she doesn't know which number corresponds to what table. And then she rolls a d100 because 3 of the tables have 100 straight options, and then the original table that I found was on Unearthed Arcana, a community table of Verdant mutations. And it doesn't have a full 100 items, so it just kind of loops back on itself when people roll on it. And so what she ended up rolling, I said out loud, "I don't even know how to mechanically rule what you just rolled." And immediately she goes,
I apologize, folks. I know what's gonna happen, so I'm laughing.
She goes, "Can I take this back? Do I have to mutate?" And me and the whole table are like, "No, you're mutating. No." We also played off that one of our characters just got to the level in Warlock where they can do Pact to the Chain, so they just summoned their minion. And the way that it's Bacon, the way that Bacon described it, he was like, I reach out into like the ether. I want to call out directly to the elemental plane of fire because he's a fire genasi, and his character's patron is Megara, the Dawn Titan. So like the primordial of fire. It's like, I want to reach out, and I want to feel like I'm part of something. I want to reach out and see if I can grab onto anyone, anything else, any other thing, feeling like they're reaching for that belonging. And I was like, as you witness this, you start to, everything around you starts to look kind of strange, and your vision starts to blur. And you kind of like clasp both sides of your head. And you can't see it because it's happening to you. But the rest of the party can see that it almost seems like your eyeballs are coming out of your head, like Ripley's or R.L. Stein. Like they're plunk, like you're the mask and your eyes are going out of your skull. And your optic nerve sort of lengthens and gets thicker, hardens. And as your vision starts to clear, you realize you can suddenly look in 2 directions at once. Your eyes are now on eye stalks.
I'm sorry.
And player immediately, okay, goes, "No, I'm so ugly. Let me take this back." And
no,
we had a guest player with us who he didn't get to play his character because my players wouldn't time skip. Like, they wouldn't speed up the days, so he never actually got to play, and I felt so bad. But
is this what prompted though you to understand that your players? Okay.
They were like, they had an argument like near the end of the session, And Valley Vigeria was like, it's because we can't focus. And I was like, I mean, yes, but like that's never stopped you from getting anything done before. So I thought about it for a day and I was like, oh, now I get it. Now I get what the real problem is here. So that guest player who didn't actually get to play their character, but provided color commentary during the day. When Creepshow Kate's like, I'm going to scare every single person that I talk to. And we were like, I mean, not necessarily. And Valley of Agiria's character is like, you have crab-like features. You're growing closer to the pinnacle of evolution. This is amazing.
Pinnacle of to be fair, again, I think I mentioned it to you when you first told me. You need to give the character now advantage on peeking around corners.
Yep, that's what part of the discussion is.
And literally all backstab attempts against are at disadvantage while the eyes are out, since they now can watch their own back.
So, this guest player,
I need that to be a thing.
He goes, Creepshow Kate's like, no, I'm going to scare everybody. This is going to make the game so hard for me. Let me take this back. And our guest player goes, oh no, what's this? The consequences of my actions? And we lost it.
I feel for them, obviously, but at the same time, that's kind of the beauty of D&D. And I think I've mentioned before that like one time I created my own wild magic table for a wild magic sorcerer I made, and it triggered every time I sneezed. So in a weird way, if you needed something potentially cataclysmic to occur, triggering my character's ability to sneeze could potentially get you out of dodge. And at one point, I sneezed and summoned a guy who grabbed the enemy we were fighting and proceeded to fly into the sky. Just succeeded on a grapple and just took this person up into the air. Because I had written... Yeah. So I had a Zangief SPD, and simultaneously I had an effect where my character literally grew hair. I had to roll a D100, and that's how many centimeters of hair just sprouted from all over my body.
Can't be an elf.
Nope, can't be an elf. If I was an elf now, I would be like, it happens, but immediately it falls right off. Just... But listen, this is the effect, though, of... Listen,
consequences of your actions.
Yeah, you have to be prepared for anything to happen when you are playing D&D. It's not supposed to be fair.
So
it's supposed to be random.
The way we ruled it is yes, like they have advantage peeking around corners because they could just put their eye around the corner now. But we've also made it's like a muscle they're going to have to train to retract them. And Grimjack put it as, it's like sucking in your gut. Like sometimes your eyeballs will just pop out. And all I could think of was, I don't know how many of you out there have watched One Piece, but there is a character that whenever Usopp gets really scared, his eyeballs bug out of his head. And when he bugs his eyes, when he bugs his eyes out of his head, there's a character that loses concentration on their devil fruit abilities because they're terrified. And I'm like, that might happen sometime in the future. Like if someone punches you in the stomach or something, and your eyeballs, you just lose that gut sucked in, and your eyeballs are like, there might be someone in the crowd who's like, ah!
Oh, that's amazing.
Hello, DM
But then at the very least, then you should make any enemy spellcasters have to roll for concentration because somebody else's eyeballs just literally bugged out of their sockets.
Oh yeah.
Mhm,
Yeah, you
mhm.
can't see that and just kind of calmly
Roll with
continue
it.
to concentrate on your spell. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
What's going on, DM Lacara?
We waited for you to start monk because we knew you had feelings that you needed to get
Oh,
out.
thank
Yeah.
you. I'm touched.
We knew that this was a very important moment
This
in the
is
DM Roundtable episode list in which we got to monk.
it's a sore subject, but also we have actually play tested this version of Monk. So we have
Oh.
actual data
Ooh.
for this.
Oh, this comes with even more fire. Folks, you're going to come here tonight with actual feelings towards this from a played moment.
That's the good stuff.
I mean, I personally have not, but one of my PCs has tested this version of Monk, so
Oh.
I can scream with authority on it.
Even better.
That being said, I'm going to write down this timestamp as when we're starting monk, but what that really means for the rest of the people is that I'm going to post the link in the Twitch chat, and I'm going to pin it for 30 minutes, so if you come on in, you can figure out, you can follow along with us. But for those of you on YouTube, you can always get the link down in the description below. It's already there.
What's up, Shin?
Not too much. Not too much at all. Ready to cry a little bit on the inside, Monk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be a fun time.
Again,
It's
there's a
weird.
long video you can watch. It's like 20 to 30 minutes long if you want a little bit more, not necessarily insight, but like a more in-depth look at some of the weirder changes. That's usually what the videos are. They usually gloss over like, oh, we just changed this, and then they go into some weird change and why they thought of it. We're going to ignore that video. We're just going to move straight to the article.
I don't know how they could make the video that long when all they're doing is cutting the guts out of it.
Very Beetlejuice
Early.
moment. Is it time to spill your guts? I'll go first.
No, this is just gonna be me snarking for like 45 minutes.
I like it.
Yeah, I have no complaints against it.
I've got full spell slots and all the cutting words.
I forgot that monks didn't get all weapons. So when they wrote like all simple melee weapons and all martial melee weapons with the light property only, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot that you guys are they are so mean to the class that's supposed to do martial arts. It's like Iron Fist in the MCU where he can't fight, and that's literally the only thing that Iron Fist does.
That's his power, fighting.
Yeah.
Also, I'm sorry, because I clearly have not played a bard, and cutting words is a reaction, not a spell, so...
You want vicious mockery.
Yeah, I always confuse those two.
Vicious Mockery is also a saving throw. Tom Cardy fans, he made a song about D&D a while back, and he rolled his attack for Vicious Mockery and got a crit. And we were like, it's funny, but wrong.
Like, something about this.
You've Googled for 30 more seconds.
Yeah.
You almost got him.
I do love me some Tom Cardy, though. I can't hate on the man.
I have no idea who that is.
Oh, he's an Australian... I was about to say he's like an Australian Jack Black, but only for music. He's not as crazy in real life.
That doesn't help. I don't know who Jack Black is either.
Oh.
It's okay.
Okay, fine.
You
It's fine.
you know I know zero pop culture from my own culture. I have very carefully cultivated a total ignorance of my native culture.
It is a
It's okay.
skillful
Everything's
maneuver.
okay. Don't worry about it. Info dump all you want about Steven Universe, because I would love to at some point, like, maybe not play necessarily in the Crystal Gems universe, but like, that'd be a cool crossover character to drop in. A gem that can take physical form. Yes, please.
That could be a lot of fun to play.
That's a thought for my universe, actually.
Oh no! Oh, it's a perfect. Oh my God! Why didn't I think of
yeah.
that before?
That could work perfectly for
All
your
of the
universe.
aliens, well, not all of, but most of the aliens in Steven Universe they're like actual physical gems, and then they project. Their consciousness creates a hard light body for them around their gem.
Wow. Oh my god, just think of the emotional toll it would take on the entire world that have been using these magical gems up to cast magic to find out that they've all been sentient all along.
Oh my god.
My heart just fell out of my sphincter.
Have fun
Oh,
with that 15,000 years of genocide.
Oh no!
Oh. Who
Oh
turned off the
no!
lights? It
This
got
is
dark.
taking a turn!
It got dark. This is
like
what the
this
monk has
idea.
done. This is what the monk has done to DM Lacara, folks.
You've made me angry. You would like me angry.
Oh my God. This will be the reason I don't sleep tonight, which is good. I'll take this over something else.
Fictional reasons to not sleep are always more acceptable.
It's true. 100%. 100%.
Yeah. But I will say this much to you, Kami, to the point about martial arts in general, that this change. You would think you only thought about a monk with a weapon if you thought about a kensei. And you only thought about a kensei if you read beyond like the second page of subclasses when it came to the monk.
True. They want you to always use your unarmed strikes normally, so I guess that makes sense.
It's similar in Pathfinder, where in Pathfinder there is a style of monk that is used to mounted combat.
Oh.
And basically you can train yourself as a monk and to be mounted on a horse to use pretty much like the idea of your ki to get additional attacks while mounted on the back of a horse. It's really funny. But once again, monk weapons are special weapons that are super secretive and almost make you look more like a ninja than they do a monk.
I was gonna say, I feel like just in general, the idea of mounted combat in D&D worlds, like just in general, is so underutilized because most people don't read the rules of mounted combat. And like, if you're on a steed that is either sentient or is trained, it has its own full turn. But everyone's just like, I'm on my mount. It move.
Yeah. That is exactly how people sound too.
But also, I'm sorry, a monk on horseback? I love monks. I love horses. But can anybody list me any culture that has ever put a monk on a horse?
I'm trying to...
I'll wait.
The Mongolians have to be the closest, but like, they're not studying. Yeah, they're not like, they're not, their enlightenment is the war.
Yeah. totally different. That's like saying, well, the Scythians had horses. It's like, yeah, you don't exactly think monk when you think of a, screaming Mongol.
Yeah, no.
To be fair, no, not normally. But listen,
I know it's fantasy. It can be whatever you want. There is an argument
no,
for that. It is fair. I acknowledge it.
I feel like we always have to leave. We always have to leave that tiny. As much as I don't like it,
Yeah.
I always have to leave that tiny bit of oh.
You can do what you want, but it doesn't mean we're happy about it.
Yeah.
That's our disclaimer.
It's true.
But I mean, why not? Because okay, so here's a historical problem that I have with monks.
yes.
This is not with the new monk. This is with the original monk. Ninjas don't belong as a subclass of monk.
No.
Ninjas should be a subclass of rogue.
Yes.
Hmm. And they should
make
come
so
from
much more
commoner
sense.
backgrounds.
Yeah.
Yeah. But traditionally, even if you go back to like the wizardry system of games, like there was a lot of RPGs,
Mhm.
video game RPGs are taken from. Excuse me. Oof.
Don't die.
Wrong pipe. I'm not sorry about that. Water went down the wrong pipe. But traditionally, your thief evolved into a ninja. Your monk evolved into like a master fighter. Even if you go back to the original
Mhm.
Final Fantasy, the thief became a ninja. The monk became
That's
a
true.
master.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always been that way for ages.
And it's a progression that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. You get better at killing things sneakily. You maybe get special weapons.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a specialty class.
Yeah.
Even like, I could even see it making more sense for the ninja to be after fighter because the ninja's setting traps and things like that, like an offshoot of battle master, that kind of idea. Like you're a master of the battlefield.
I would almost give them more general. Like if I was giving them anything of that, I would give them more of a general idea, like a literal general, kind of a Lubu. Give them a horse and make them the mounted mastery type, and have them storm the field with polearm masteries. Just naturally gifted at taking people down with polearms. That would be more interesting, I think. And then, keep samurai a paladin idea, I think. Because it's an oath.
And again, we want to stress, we haven't gotten to paladin yet, but remember, your oath isn't necessarily to a god. It's probably to a belief system, so it doesn't even need, I was about to say Daddy Jesus. It doesn't need a god.
What?
Because God forbid you have gods, even in fantasy.
But continuing down for the monk.
Usually
The only
start
other
at
thing it looks like they're
1d6
getting.
now.
Yeah. Go up to 12. And you can use dexterity instead of strength when you grapple or shove.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so this, like I said, we have play tested. We had a combat with our monk using the new rules for damage and combat. And it definitely made a difference. And I think the monk has always been underpowered as far as their hits. Like, yeah, they got a lot of them, but it was like getting slapped a bunch of times by somebody. Like, yeah, it added up, but it wasn't. I didn't feel like it was on an even footing with like fighter or something. And really, the monk should be. It should be the hand-to-hand version of fighter to me.
Yeah.
And this definitely made a difference. They're at level 3. You're level 3, right? Did I make you level 4?
I'm trying to think. I think we're 4. I think.
Okay.
I could be wrong.
Yeah. So they're level 4, and he was doing a decent amount of damage per turn. So I feel like that is they have leveled up the monk to where a hit actually means something. You're more in tune with that kind of martial arts movie wire fu kind of thing of like, the monk
Okay.
hits and their arm is out and the person like flies into the brick wall kind of thing like that.
Mm.
It's moving more into that kind of range.
Got ya.
And like, if
Okay.
you figure they're starting at 1d4, and you figure also the rogue, like, of the other classes, I would think that the person most likely to use a dagger is going to be a rogue, or maybe like a sorcerer or a wizard. They just keep it like on the side.
Yeah.
But like, as a rogue, you don't get extra attack, you just get better sneak attack. So even if you're like fighting alongside the monk who also has a dagger, the rogue probably is still going to like just poop on your damage if they get a
Oh, yeah.
single sneak attack.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
100%.
And like, let's be honest, when does the rogue not get a sneak attack?
It's true.
Yeah, I think at a certain point the game just makes it so if the rogue attacks, it's just sneaking.
Yeah.
Our Valley of
It's like,
Egeria,
oh, let me roll for stealth. 25.
Mm-hmm.
she's got a swashbuckler, I think it is, and swashbuckler it gets an extra caveat to sneak attack, which is if your opponent has if none of your friends are near this one opponent, you get sneak attack. But also, if one of your friends is near this guy, you get sneak attack. And I'm like, just say they
my
always
God.
have sneak attack. You don't have to make an extra caveat.
It's like, yeah, you're just always sneak attacking. Like, I get it. I just
Yeah.
I sneak attack people.
If they're there, they sneak attack. If they're not there, they sneak attack.
Yeah. What is this?
Yeah.
Always on passive. Check.
Yeah. So that was my one positive thing to say about monks.
Okay,
Oof.
so we got one positive point.
Oof.
No,
Moving
it
to
is a
level
major
2.
one though. I've complained a lot about monks being underpowered before, so I did want to give it its due.
I can say, having played a monk before, it's nice to know that they're giving them some damage and
Yeah.
really making them feel like they can be up front and
Yeah.
having fun. We'll get to it. It's not far down. I think I glimpsed it accidentally, so we're getting there.
All right. We got our positivity out of the way early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now
we get to
comes the
monk
hate.
focus. Patient defense allows disengage as a bonus action for free, or spend a focus point to disengage and dodge as a bonus action. So, just to understand that, I can, whenever I want, just for free, be like, hey, I'm disengaging. Or I can burn a focus point and as an additional bonus action, be like, hey, I'm disengaging or dodging.
You can disengage and dodge.
So why not just say you can't get locked down unless you want to?
Oh, if we didn't say before, they're getting rid of key because, as a term, focus points are what key always was, but they felt that calling it key was too niche, as if people don't illegally crowd town squares to watch Dragon Ball Z.
This is one of my biggest beefs with it. Literally, calling it key points is the only bit of flavor that monks even had. The even passing nod to the actual historical basis of this character.
It was the cool factor. You got to flavor it where you felt like you were watching, as DM Lacara said before, those wire fu flicks, those early Jackie Chan films, and feeling like your monk was using his ki to flow through his attacks. Now it's just, you got a focus point.
Yeah. I just... You know, making everybody, making everybody the same does not mean making everybody equal. And stripping the flavor out of this is not cool.
Is
Not
this
cool,
in a
Watsy.
very weird way whitewashing?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Yeah, yeah. In a strange way, it is, because again, Key automatically connects people to the idea of Eastern ideologies and Asiatic ideologies and things of that nature. And I'm sure Watsy's like, nope, we're getting Vikings because no one can get offended for the Norse.
Because they haven't been appropriated evilly before.
Yeah.
It's and this is the thing that I keep hammering at, that is my major problem with the 2024 edition. And I will keep saying this for every class, everything we go over. They are treating DMs like idiots. Like, if you had somebody who was coming to you and was like, look, I want to do a monk, but I want to do it a different way. They want to do something that's unique to your world or based off of a different kind of monk. You know, maybe they want to be a Cistercian monk or something. Like, you're not smart enough to go, hey, do you want to call it something other than a key point?
Yeah.
Like, why would you just strip that away from what the majority of people are going for anyway? We don't need the hand holding. We're creatives. Thank you. Step back.
No, Watsy is the helicopter parent. Oh, that anger in his soul.
I made a new button.
Disappointment. Pure disappointment. At instant speed. Just.
I did pretty good, actually. I thought his was worse off than Murmur's, but his cutout was not as bad as I thought it was. Cool.
Oh.
I'm not saying like there was stuff you could fix. I can't tell. Like, it's Angry Raccoon, that's the point. We still have to name him.
Yes, we do. I'm not keeping him as Racky. That's just what I named the button because it was small.
Name should be Pistachio at this point. Something wildly out.
I mean, he was covered in green. I had to erase all the green.
Pissy Pistachio.
Ooh. Yes, please do post them in Discord. Anyone watching, you are welcome to come join the Okami Kura Discord. You won't find DM Lacara there, but you'll find me and Shin. And sometimes, on incredibly rare occasions, Bacon and Dungeon Mommy.
Yeah, we all hover there, and DM Lacara, in like a Zordon-like maneuver, sends thoughts into it through people.
Yeah, if anybody says anything to me, one of the others will tell me, and I mean, I guess Okami, you could add me to it, in theory.
In theory.
In theory.
Okami just lost all brain function, and while he's gone, we'll finish up Monk's focus.
Yeah.
I was like, I gotta type this out.
Let's keep complaining about these guys.
Yeah!
Step of the Wind allows dash as a bonus action. Free.
That's cool.
Or you can disagree. I feel like they watched like one playthrough of Sifu and they were like, yo, I think we need to make these characters be able to stand still in place and furiously just stop people from hitting them. We don't want to redirect them or anything. We just want to make sure that any second someone's attacking them, they could stand still and just be like, ah, no hit me. Ah, no hit me. But nothing else actually happens.
But no flavor.
Yeah, but no flavor. Because if they add flavor, then you could tell that they took it from Sifu, a game about the East, which would be appropriating.
True.
Okami. Now you gotta.
But also, I have to say, especially now that everybody gets like feet every time they blink, like when's the last
Yeah.
time you've actually known a monk that didn't take mobile like right away?
Yeah, there's a list, and I hate to say it because it always falls into that. Is there a metagaming in D&D? And the answer is yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
of
you
course
could.
there's.
You can metagame in D&D. I am very against it because I feel like you shouldn't look to be the best class. You should look to be the best version of your character. But I digress.
Let's be honest, the stuff that's the most fun is the stuff that you are the worst at.
Oh
Yes. So many people
Absolutely.
don't understand that, like, some of the most fun you can have is playing with those negative stats that you have.
Oh, yeah.
Even Constitution. I had to do it. I know he broke into a cold sweat and hates me right now, and I'm sorry. I still love you.
So Grimjack, this is our joke for him because he's a paladin, and his dump stat is Constitution. And he's like, oh, all my stats were bad, but he picked Constitution to be the worst one, and he's the tank.
Choice.
It's not the best.
And so during D&Dversary, he was like, hey, if I go to the blacksmith shop, can they teach me how to smith? And I was like, I mean, do you want to, are you like, you want to learn to use blacksmithing tools? And he's like, yeah, I want to be able to build things after today. And I was like, after today? Bro, you don't even know how to use the bellows to make a fire and keep the temperature the same. You have a long way to go.
Aren't you in the middle of like life or death battle?
Oh, they're in their town now and they won't do anything. Oh, it's so disappointing. They're so scared. They won't do anything.
Just like abandon the battle and be like, you know what I've always wanted to learn.
They're on personal life choice side quests. Just
before you came in, they let some were-rats into the city and now they're trying to recruit them. But the were-rats currently work for the bad guys, and they know this.
Of course they're trying to recruit the were-rats.
I also finally got them. They went and stole the magic item in the tower, and they're supposed to be doing their trials. They went and stole the magic item, and I told them about the hologram snake guy that comes up when you come near the door, and they're like, nah, you know what? That doesn't sound cool. And then they identified the item, and it says that its true power can only be unlocked if someone confronts one of their fears in a trial with a capital T. And they're like, nah, I don't think we need to go behind that door. And I'm like, you sons of bitches. Just talk to the holographic snake man, goddammit.
They don't want to.
Why are they even playing D&D if they don't go do stupid crap?
I ask myself this question sometimes.
Like, D&D is the place that all of us that don't make those choices in real life go, you know what? I need to know what's behind that door.
Mm-hmm.
D&D allows me to say, fuck it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For when those times when you're just being too responsible.
Yeah. Would real me try to seduce the princess of hell? Absolutely not. But D&D me has certainly talked in detail on how he would pull it off so that they could stop a potential world-ending event, only to be told that it was foolishness.
Oh, did you roll low on charisma?
The first time. Well, but it was also that at my bard level at that time, there was no way I was taking on a literal daughter of Asmodeus with my charisma. Not yet.
Not yet. It gives you something to aspire to.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. in my head, by the time we found her again, I was going to be ready. But which I'm not ready for is another seemingly battle-built feat of uncanny metabolism.
Why is it
Once
called
prolonged rest-
uncanny metabolism? Like, does this
Doesn't even
implies
have to
that
do with
like
hit points.
like you're eating or you flex? Like
You're Goku, you just chow down on 12 plates of food
right before every battle. Like why?
right before every battle.
Why are they calling it that?
I guess because the second part, you regain hit points equal to your monk level plus a roll of the martial arts die.
Oh, okay. So that makes at least some kind of sense. Interesting.
You also regain all, your focus points.
Hmm.
You know.
This background music has more flavor than the class does now.
There's no adobo in this thing right now, okay?
And like like we said before, like the monks here, they're not like, you don't expect them to be fighting all the time. But here they are with an ability that lets them make sure that they can maximize their combat every time. Pick a side, bro.
What I would have liked to have seen in the monk to be added in. Something that where it's like, you meditate for 10 minutes and it gives you advantage on history checks.
Oh,
Or arcana checks. Or something like, you're trying to talk somebody, specifically if you're trying to like teach somebody something or induce somebody to do something with like a philosophical like argument, you get advantage on it. Something that let the monk be the other aspects of a monk. Maybe
that
added
sounds
some
like
flavor.
ROLE play. We don't like that anymore.
Yeah, that's dead. This is 2024.
Yeah.
You leave that in 2014, okay? You leave these antiquated ideas of having flavor in the past.
Yeah, well, who am I kidding? Even bards can't talk anybody into anything anymore.
Yeah, what?
I also feel like partially yes, because you're getting you regain your hit points, but they called it uncanny metabolism to like harken back to when, if you were a high enough monk level, you just basically stopped aging. You aged incredibly slow. We don't need that. That's also ROLE play.
But that was so cool. The idea that my monk could reach the highest level and literally become Akuma. Like, I could just
Yes.
become a living demon of the land and just exist and just know that, like, maybe another campaign that I create, my character lives out there. It's just like this ancient, like, don't mess with me neutral force.
Maybe you become a genius loci at some point.
Ooh, the land he meditates on just gains sentience.
He meditates on top of the mountain. Eventually, he becomes the mountain.
You just okay. So, I don't think at some point we'll probably talk about this, but one of the big things that everyone's happy about for 2024 new books is that they're adding bastions, which is supposed to be like your characters, like everyone's gonna have their own base to build, and with the bastion system, you're gonna upgrade your bases, what have you. So before that came out, I was trying to figure out how best to help my players come up with how to build a bastion and what have you. This is going to be the second episode. Well, maybe not the second episode. Yes, it will. I already, yeah. Okay, I'm going to make words one day. Strongholds and Followers by Matt Colville, so MCDM. I will talk about that book at length. But one of the things in it is he has this like old idea from previous editions and other role-playing games where the base of operations for your heroes becomes suffused with their power, their identity. And the bastion itself gains abilities based on what heroes with the S in parentheses it belongs to the point where like the bastion is suffused with your magical power, and that bleeds out into the land around it. So the land around it gains like magical abilities, and like that doesn't necessarily fit into 5e rules normally, but that's more akin to how it was back in the old days. Like you were so powerful, you're warping the reality around you.
I mean, you could just copy the abilities, or at least the structure, from monster layers from the monster manual, because they do they do have that in 5e.
Yeah.
But I love that every single one of my favorite real play podcasts has either had like a home base that the team like builds and invests like time and effort into, or some sort of like magical hideout that has, you know, like a ghost butler or something in it that makes it really awesome. I love that whole concept in a campaign.
Yeah. No, but you need it. You need that flavoring. It gives you so much to work with. Don't take that away. Please.
Yeah.
Don't take that away. Like we need the sauce.
And it's so weird to me that I'm sure previous editions had some rules, but like almost every group ever has like a home base. Like the fact that like any rules for your home base were overlooked is so weird. Because even if you're playing like a West Marches campaign, you still have a home base. Like you have to return to that place.
It's just a super strange. It's just an extremely strange option. It's really the best way to look at it. It doesn't make any sense.
Also, I'm a little. Oh, I'm sorry, Shin.
No. I was gonna say, so undo it. Fix it.
I'm just kind of surprised that they've introduced that as a formal structure in 5.5, because the way that all of the classes have been written thus far seems to be leaning into the murder hobo type campaign so much harder than the adoption agency, or, you know, like, hey, we're kind of our own guild and like we chill out, like anything where you would be okay having a place where you would be able to be found regularly. So it seems weird to introduce locations that weren't in a previous one at the same time that you are kind of strong arming most of the characters into like combat only postures.
In a weird way, it's almost like they felt bad at the last second.
Yeah.
And they're like, man, do we really want to take all that away? Can we give them something back?
Yeah.
I feel like they must have... how do I articulate this thought? I think the reason they're putting bastions in is because they released 3 starter sets. So the original starter set, the Essentials kit, which takes place in essentially the same exact spot, and then the new Essentials kit, which is Stormwreck Isle. All 3 of those starter sets have at least one base in them, and they're probably like, there's so many people online who have been like, oh, this is how I've improved Tresender Manor, how my players built it up, how much money it cost them, because there was no information on that. And I guess the impetus had to be partially people being like, you gave my players a base, but I had to figure it out. Why don't you give me rules for that?
Yeah. Which is fair. I mean, I don't agree with stripping out flavor, but like basic structure is something else.
Yeah. Why would we want to give them that? Why would I want to give my players anything? It's not my job. I'm a DM.
I'm a DM. I walk in, I throw down a blank piece of paper with squares drawn on it, and I tell them, do what you will with it.
So roll a bunch of clickety-clack math rocks, and I'll tell you if you're alive.
Yeah.
Welcome to D&D, damn it. Don't do well under pressure. Well, congratulations. Welcome to stress. Just don't know what to tell you.
You thought this was your escape? Ah, ha, 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 ha.
Yeah, welcome to hell.
Welcome to math hell.
Yeah. It's like I have nothing but pain for you for the next 15 minutes.
And guess what? There's taxes too.
Oh man. I can feel the collective just like fear entering my players' eyes as they're just like, is he serious? Is he gonna really kill us? Like, yeah. I am.
And it's up to you if it's fun or not.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly.
That's exactly what it is too. It's like this could be as quick or as painful as it needs to be. That is up to you.
Okay, so this goes back to the standout moment from D&Dversary 4 was after that comment of, oh no, look at the consequences of my actions. Valley of Egeria goes, okay, so you're saying that her mutations as a Verdant are brought on by stress and trauma. So if I drown her, that's probably traumatic enough. And like,
Huh?
you know when you when someone says something to you and like you're not expecting it at all and you just freeze in place and you can't even make noise, you're just like, and you just blink a bunch, like you become the blinking guy meme. So I'm sitting there blinking, and after like 35 seconds I finally go, I mean, you can try. And they're all arguing amongst each other, and our player for the
But
Verdant...
which one's gonna drown her?
Yeah, our player for the Verdant goes, yeah, I think we should try it. Drown me. And everyone else is arguing, but our Verdant player is digital, so she's coming through the speaker, and they're arguing. And our guest player, who didn't get to play anything, he goes,
She wants to
wait,
be. So she wait.
Wait, you guys.
She wants to be drowned.
Yeah, what are you guys arguing about? She just agreed. She said she wants to be drowned.
I mean, if she says she wants to be drowned, are you really gonna count that as trauma?
Nope.
Yeah,
To be fair, she couldn't handle being drowned. So rules as written for suffocation is you hit 0 HP when you can't hold your breath anymore. But she swam up to the surface, and I was like, you didn't hit 0 HP. That's not enough trauma. But you are afraid of the ocean now.
Congratulations! You did screw yourself up.
You gain one phobia.
Like, you have managed to completely F yourself up. Kudos. Don't know what else to tell you.
Wow.
That's beautiful.
It was eventful in stupid ways.
No, that's the kind of beautiful stuff that needs to happen in a D&D game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's exactly why I play D&D, because I want to have literally the wildest outcome come from me thinking I had a plan. It's like, you have a plan? No.
No, but I thought I did.
Yeah, I thought I did. That's yep.
Oh my god, you're the bard from the D&D movie.
Yeah. I am 1,000%. I hate to think of it sometimes, but that is 1,000% the way I will play a character at times. I will absolutely like plan. We're not gonna come with a plan. We're gonna just go in there. We're just gonna have a great time. Okay. And whatever happens, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. Just maximum charisma to convince my friends to come die with me.
Ultimately,
But
that's really what it's about. You need one character that can convince everyone to do something stupid, and you need one character to pick them up when they die.
yeah,
That's all you need.
Oh yes, yes.
yeah. Yeah, as long and if you identify early on that you are going to be the person to pick me up when I decidedly dive into death, thank you. I won't say it often, but know that I mean it when I say thank you for doing that. Because everybody else in the party is going to leave me there at one point. And you're a real one. You decided to come back.
We should do a campaign. I never had so much fun as when I played a cleric, and I want to do it again.
We should. We should. I will absolutely return to my bardic ways for a campaign. And you know what? A great place to see that campaign would be if you subscribe to the Okami Guri Patreon and or the YouTube subscription here. We've been bantering a little bit, and we will be getting back to Monk 2024, but we've been coming up with ideas all over the place. And we're all here to help DM Okami here live a better life, create better content for all of you, get cooler stuff put together, maybe even cooler and more popular ideas and episodes of things that you want to watch. And on top of it all, you help him avoid drinking sludge. We cannot reinforce enough that sludge is not a thing we want him to encounter. We want him to have underwear with no holes in it. We want him to have fresh ramen noodles. And I'd like the food to be within 2 years in his pantry.
Shin, we know how it is, and we know how easy it is to turn the channel when these kind of fun drive calls come up. But we're asking you to not turn away and to help us help Okami.
It's not much, but it's honest work.
I feel
Every little
like
bit helps.
there's going to be a point where I'm famous enough that someone is going to meet me at a convention and they're going to give me a thermos full of ramen water.
And that's when you know you've made it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's when I know.
that'll be your shining moment. That'll be it. Literally, as that happens, you're just gonna hear "You got the touch" just in the background.
I'm crying.
Just at maximum volume, just
Look, as long as
blaring
it's,
out of the speakers. You're gonna be like, "I did it."
as long as it's that and not some you go out and on your front porch is one of those Unabomber packages covered in packing tape and you open it and it's thermoses of it.
Oh no. Oh no. I'll take that over
Covering your house
toasters.
with thermoses of sludge. Covering your house with thermoses of sludge. You've got 15 minutes to get out.
I was thinking I had thought about this way back when, the first time that I tried to do content creation full time. I was like, I should get a PO box and then people could send me stuff. I was just thinking, I'm gonna get a notification in my mail, my email that's like, you have 12 packages marked as liquid.
Yes. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. And you're gonna know at that moment, damn it. I made it. Just that'll be the moment you know.
Yep.
That'll be the moment you know you made it. Let's get back to the monks, because we have a lot of rage left unpacked.
We have a lot
and
of
we're
rage.
about to really get to it.
I will say though, changing deflect missiles to deflect attacks is pretty cool. But in reading the zoom in section, if you click the link for deflect attacks, It says you can reduce the damage of any attack that includes, which rules as written means like if someone shoots a fire arrow at you, you can deflect potentially the whole thing because the piercing is coming at you. That attack has piercing on it and fire. Now you can just deflect the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh, interesting. I also like that.
Yeah.
I didn't realize
why
you
not?
could deflect melee attacks at other people. Now you can be the guy from Sifu.
Listen, it wasn't enough to have you think you were strong. Now we want you to literally become Neo in the Matrix.
Mm.
You know Kung Fu.
You guys have pack tactics. I have your fists and paws.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, technically, I have one of your fists and or paws.
Okay, you came to throw down. You mean you're here to mean business, basically. Just leave it at that.
I was just thinking that. Oh wait. You can use a focus point to redirect the attack, depending on blah 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 blah. Force them to make a saving throw against. Oh, so you reduce the damage, but you don't actually throw that damage back. You throw whatever your martial arts die is back. Oh, that's not as fun. I want to give them back what they hit me with.
Why would you want to keep the fun?
Ha!
You're a battle hobo now.
That's a lot of damage reduction.
1d10 plus deck. Oh, and monk level. Oh, so
Yeah.
it does actually keep going up. Okay. Interesting.
It's an attempt, obviously, to make it seem cool. Again, you're deflecting damage. You're doing the ultimate, the ultimate kung fu. You're Jackie Chan. You're just deflecting all the damage down. Melee attacks can be directed at a creature within 5 feet. If what I'm reading is correct, does that mean you can now redirect a melee attack?
Yeah, that's
that
why
you've
I'm like,
taken down?
that's cool. Yeah. I'm a little disappointed that you're gonna roll the damage that you redirect potentially could be lower or higher. It's weird that it's not just like the same thing.
I want to believe there's some reason.
Well, at the highest levels, you're always going to. You'll never be able to deal the total damage that you could potentially deflect when you redirect. Because at the highest level, you're going to be doing D12 plus Dex. We'll just assume since your highest level, it's a +5 mod. So at max, you could do 17 when you can deflect potentially up to 35.
Okay.
I mean, it's still a cool idea, though. I was just thinking, if you can now deflect melee attacks within range to people who are within 5 feet of you, does that mean as long as you have your reaction ready, technically, if two opponents are next to you, you also have flanking? If you're not doing on either side?
Say so. I don't think that's completely far-fetched. It's a little wild, yeah, but it's not completely far-fetched.
I think if my incredibly pedantic players brought that up, I would be like, you know what? Sure.
Yeah, I wouldn't give that to them, but I would allow them to bring that to me. I think that would be a fair trade-off. Like, I can't hand you that. That's too much.
Oh, it's the. Does this one say? So the big one doesn't say it, but the little part says they make a dex saving throw, taking damage equal to 2 rolls of your martial arts die. That's at least better. But it'll still, technically, you can deflect more than you can dish out, but it's better, I guess. And you're not like, I mean, at max level, whapping someone in the face for 25 damage when they tried to hit you. 25 doesn't seem like a lot, but as a reaction, when you've already done your action for that turn and probably wailed on them, it's a lot.
That's a chunk. Yeah, that gets to be a chunk really quickly. And in multiple rounds of, and multiple characters in combat, you're really not going to want to take too many hits. And an enemy that you're DMing isn't going to want to take a lot of this either.
I was old. Sorry, I was answering Ace's question.
Oh?
Very not safe for work question.
Oh, no.
But hey, you can use your pass down lore points to pass down my lore if you want.
That's fair. That's fair. For going forward, we'll get to the monks subclasses. Let's have fun with the monk subclasses, why don't we? We are now limited to the Warrior of Mercy, Shadow, Elements, and Open Hand.
And they broke Quivering Palm, which was my favorite.
So cool.
Oh, yeah. So first off is the Mercy, as seen in Tasha's Cauldron, is apparently very similar, seeing very few changes. Features Hand of Harm and Implements of Mercy, returned albeit with some tweaks. Hands of Healing, for example, is now classed as a magic action, which again, we see that term magic action. Now that makes me, but going back on what we said, it was to delineate whether it's affected by a zone of anti-magic. Does that now mean that monks have something that doesn't function within a zone of anti-magic?
Ooh, yeah.
Why? When they're not spellcasters.
Yeah. And so I was about to say key, sorry. Their focus points aren't magic. Yeah. Oh, apparently now, well, at least Hand of Healing specifically is. But like, yeah, don't take away my flavor. They could have been like, when I don't know what this is called, but Chinese folks do they like heat up their hands and they press onto your chakra points and what have you. Like, that's not magic. That's unblocking your flow. And hot cups and stuff. It's not magic.
Yeah. Feels like it.
Are you asking for flavor?
I'm asking to ROLE play.
Sorry, this is the wrong edition for that.
2024, Okami. It's 2024. I'm sorry, buddy. We don't do that anymore. Get your 2014 ideas out of here. We then go to the Warrior Shadow, which, again, here we go. We've made a ninja in a monk. Shadow Arts has been reworked, allowing you to cast Darkness and Minor Illusion. Because now, we're going to give a monk spellcasting.
Yay! No.
And you can move the field of darkness you create. You also get Dark Vision. As you level up, At level 11, improved Shadow Step lets you spend a focus point to ignore the dim light or darkness restrictions of Shadow Step. Make an unarmed strike immediately after you teleport as a part of a bonus action.
What?
Cloak of Shadow is a new level 17 feature that allows you to wreath yourself in shadows. You're a rogue.
Yeah.
Why is it still called Shadow Step if you can do it in the light?
Yeah.
Because it's all shadows. Because you're all super Shadow Man.
But you're not a rogue.
Yeah, you're the Shadow Monk.
Also,
You're all...
Yeah.
You're spooky, dark, and mysterious. But you're not a ninja.
Can we
You're a
deal
monk.
with the fact that Watsy said pun intended? Just stop.
Oh, but you lose Pass Without Trace? Instead, you get to be invisible. You're invisible, cloaked in shadows that work in the light. That's not how invisibility works.
It is now.
Yeah, also, is that magic?
Probably.
You'll have to see if it says it's as a magic action.
Why would you make them a half-caster? Stop. Stop.
Because monks need more to do.
But it can't be flavor.
No.
I just realized the way that they have this phrased, it gives you dark vision or upgrades it, leads me to believe that they're going to be able to see within magical darkness, which is generally an eldritch invocation.
Not anymore. Not anymore. Origin features. All that fun jazz.
Oh, this is weird. Everything's weird.
So we get to the Warrior of the Elements. Because they said, hey, it didn't work before, so we're going to make it work. You have an ability called Elemental Attunement, which gives you 10-foot reach of your unarmed strike and allows you to deal elemental damage.
Nope. But so our monk is a waterbender, and I stripped the 10-foot reach out.
Aw, 10-foot reach is fun.
Yeah, it's fun. It's also broken.
Oh, well, he has arms like Astral Self, so then they become 10 feet anyway.
No, I nerfed it.
Ah! My elephunk, it hurts.
Look, you can't have astral arms and water bending and all the normal monk crap and a 10-foot reach. It is just no.
I was about to say, wait until you hear the things I can do with my trunk, but then I realized how oddly sexual that sounds. That's not how I mean it.
Do you need me to mute myself?
Oh, it's okay. I've known you long enough to know that's never how you mean it.
This is also true. In knowing Okami, you just know that this is just. Well, sadly, you won't be able to fling your 10-foot reach of elemental energy, and you can't push or pull people 10 feet on a failed save.
Huh.
So it's not enough that you can hit somebody with water. I'm gonna drag you with the water whip.
Yeah.
10 feet.
Oh.
You also gain the new elementalism cantrip. Because you're a spellcaster now, right?
Yeah. Isn't that elementalism like basically like thaumaturgy, but for like minor elemental effects?
Yeah, I think it's like it's druidcraft, but with other things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on.
Did we lose him, or did I
You
get disconnected?
exert control of the elements. Oh, did I disconnect?
Nope, it was me. It was definitely me. I don't know what happened, but it was me. I didn't drop any frames though. Weird. Sorry, go on.
But no, you get I was gonna say you get beckon earth. You create a thin shroud of dust or sand that covers a 5-foot square area, or you cause a single word to appear in your handwriting in a patch of dirt or sand. Beckon air. You create a breeze strong enough to ripple cloth, stir dust, rustle leaves, close open doors and shutters, all in a 5-foot cube. Doors and shutters being held open by someone or something aren't affected. You can beckon fire. Create a thin cloud of harmless embers and colored scented smoke in a 5-foot cube. You choose the colors in the scent, and embers can ignite candles, light torches, and lamps in that area. The smoke scent lingers for a minute. You can then beckon water and create a cool mist spray that lightly dampens creatures and objects in a 5-foot cube. Alternatively, you can create 1 cup of clean water in an open container or on a surface, and the water evaporates in 1 minute. Finally, you can sculpt your element, causing dirt, sand, fire, smoke, mist, or water that can fit in a 1-foot cube to assume a crude shape, such as that of a creature or an object for 1 hour. Elementalism.
Since they said crude, I immediately was like, I guarantee, at least in Bacon's campaign, if anybody had it, they'd just be making penises out of every element. Just penises all over. That's immediately what I thought of.
So you can either make a cup of water that evaporates in a minute, or you could make a 1-foot cube of water in the shape of a cup that lasts for an hour.
Yeah.
Also, if you make the water and it evaporates in a minute, does that mean after you drink it, it evaporates inside of you?
Imagine being like, I'm so thirsty.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Your DM's like, you've got 60 seconds until you take damage from exhaustion because you're thirsty. And you're like, oh, you drank the water. It's like, perfect. He's like, and your clip evaporates. No!
I mean, it is a cantrip, though. I mean, you can just keep doing it.
It's true.
Oh, that's true.
You could be like a 30-something-year-old woman just constantly chugging water.
Okay, so one of the many things I've kickstarted semi-recently was Elementara, and like their whole shtick is that like there was an elemental burst from the plains that came through, ruined the campaign setting, but now like the campaign setting itself is like a plane that's split into areas of various elements, and now the creatures that are in those biomes have like some kind of element applied to them that's like changed their biology, and all the classes and the subclasses are like you're learning to train in this kind of element, like, and all I'm thinking of is like, I wonder if some of this was like they saw what Elementara was doing and they were like, yo, we don't have to use the 4 cardinal elements, bros. Whoa. Oh, okay. Arvin took it one step further than me. If the water gets into your bloodstream, would it evaporate your blood with it when it evaporates after a minute? I feel like that's I use the that's on the level of I use prestidigitation to heat up a molecule until it explodes.
Fair.
I have a handbook for that.
That's a tough call. That's a tough call for me. I might have to consult. I might have to consult DM Lacara for the handbook. He's gonna get a phone call on Discord. It's gonna be like, Shin is calling you. Like, what's going on? It's like, Hey, Lacara, it's me. It's me. Remember that time I need the handbook about water and a blood? Yeah. It's that time.
I
Sorry,
knew
dude.
that.
Yeah, I need that call. Need that call to blow off like a dusty tone.
Yeah.
Because it's clearly from
Dusty pull for you.
2014.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me go into my flavor folder.
Locked
Just
behind a picture of
arranged.
Guy
It's a
Fieri.
Rolodex, but like every little tab that tells you what it is a different spice.
It's just covered in a picture of Guy Fieri.
That's what I need to write, is a completely food-based supplement for D&D.
Yes.
People love that. Like the amount of times I've come across someone's like homebrew like herbalism kit or something like that, like how to like what flowers you'd have to get and how you'd have to put them together to make certain potions. I'm like, this is like the kind of weird stuff that people want to know.
Well, I've told you about that time in our other campaign that our characters sent my husband's character off to he was playing a bard. No, I'm sorry. He's playing a bard now. He wasn't playing a bard. He was just acting like one.
That's a bold statement.
It doesn't matter what he's playing a bard.
Fair.
We sent him off to do recon after we had been chased out of a city and we needed to find out if it was safe for us to come back in or not. And he was gone for like 2 days. And we finally sent a messenger animal to find out like if he had been captured or if he was okay, like what was going on. He had gotten a job as a short order cook. He went into the city and just got himself a job and was like making a name for himself as a cook. And like had not done any of the things that we sent him off to do.
Gotta make money. I appreciate the hustle.
Yeah, the sheer joy that he was portraying as he's just trying to make it now. Like Dungeons, Dragons, not even his problem anymore. He's a short order cook. He's got bills to pay and a family to feed. Okay. He's on a different kind of journey right now, guys.
Yep. He was having a blast, and we're sitting there pulling our heels waiting to find out if we can break into the library.
As a DM, I don't even know how I would maintain composure for that moment. I'm gonna be very.
Did not.
I would probably cease to have physical form.
It's like I came across this story on, I don't know if it was DM Academy or Unearthed Arcana a while back, but this guy was like, oh, I had this whole story planned out, what have you. But there was a restaurant in the starting town that my players were in, and they didn't like the guy who was running it. So they spent like their first couple months adventuring, maybe their first whole year making money, so they could buy this restaurant from him. And then our campaign changed for like the next 3 years to them running this restaurant. And I like had a whole story planned, but all he wanted to do was run a restaurant. So we ran a restaurant for the next couple years.
I can respect that.
Yeah. Sometimes that's
it
how it
happens. I think it really happens. I think sometimes as a DM have to be prepared for the wild ride you can get taken on. Because your only other option is to take away the role playing in role playing games and railroad them into something.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, is the dragon gonna walk into the restaurant and sit down, or are you just going to retool your adventure to have a lot to do with Sage? Like,
yeah. But continuing on with this monk, because I feel like we hate this thing. This has definitely been.
We spent time avoiding talking about it.
Yeah, we've danced around it, so I think we're only gonna get to the monk this episode. We might not get to the.
Pretty sure we're not making it to paladin this time, but that's fine.
Yeah,
We have feelings, and we like talking.
we do. Warrior of the Open Hand says this remains unchanged. The exception, one of its options only blocking opportunity attacks rather than all reactions. So it now blocks all reactions. Wholeness of body has been moved to a bonus
block
action.
all reactions? I didn't know that. Interesting.
I didn't either. You get a heal, so a second wind, rather than 3 times your monk level. However, you can now use it a number of times equal to your wisdom modifier. Okay, cool.
Okay.
Fleet step lets you use Step of the Wind as part of any bonus action that wasn't already used to perform Step of the Wind, and Quivering Palm has been rebalanced. It now costs 4 focus points and does 10d12 force damage on a failed save rather than reducing the target to 0 hit points and half as much on a successful save. So the coolest move, the 1-inch punch, now just does a whole lot of damage.
And it's like, it
10d12?
already only lasted for a day, and you could only do it on one target, and you got it at like level 17. Like, how much rebalancing did it need?
Yeah.
None.
I'm trying to think if they're trying to, like, there's a lot of abilities that drop you to 0 if they hit you when you're at 100 or lower. And, like, I can understand if they wanted to keep it in range with that, but 10d12 is higher than 100.
Mm-hmm.
You have the potential to do more than 100 damage.
Mm-hmm.
This is balancing.
That's very
As they'll
weird.
say. This is WotC balance.
I don't get it.
I wish I could explain it to you. Then maybe I could explain it to myself. But moving forward from that, Stunning Strike, as they say, now gets a rebalance. It requires the use of a weapon, a monk weapon, or an unarmed strike, and if applied, the stun condition now ends at the start of your next turn rather than the end. What was the problem with it ending at my next turn?
How many people, how many DMs were so mad that they got stunned that they couldn't use a reaction spell? Like, or a reaction in some way? Why? The numbers couldn't be that large because generally speaking, monks don't cast spells. So what was this dude? What reaction did you lose?
Yeah.
Hate it. I absolutely hate it.
I do like that. I don't like that you can only do this once per turn now. That's their thing. You can only do it once per turn. But I do like that if they succeed on their save, there's still like some detriment to them. Their speed gets halved. And the next attack has advantage. So even if you can't like hold them in place, you can flavor this pretty well as like, oh, you hit them at just the right spot in the jaw where like now they're dazed. There's a little bit of ROLE play in there. Just a little.
You can find something. You maybe find a little something.
The next one, Empowered Strike, is really weird because it used to be when you got to level 5, when you got to Empowered Strike, your blows went past magical resistance. Your blows now counted as magical for the purposes of resistance. This is now you can change your damage type to force, which is weird because it's technically a huge buff because so few creatures have any kind of resistance or immunity to force. But like, you're never going to use bludgeoning again. There's no reason not to use force damage every time.
Yeah.
They could have just said your blows now deal force damage. I don't need a choice. I'm never going to choose bludgeoning.
Heighten focus. New level 10 features. Improve your core monk features. First, flurry of blows gains an additional attack, bringing the total to 3 per bonus action. Patient defense now grants you temp HP based on 2 rolls of your martial arts die. Because we don't need more names for die than we didn't have already.
We can't have key points anymore, but you can have a martial arts die.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got the martial arts die, don't worry. And finally, when you use Step of the Wind, you can move 1 willing creature that's large or smaller with you.
That one of our the rogue in our party, she's got the I want to say they're the boots of striding and springing, where you can never be encumbered. And I thought, like, oh, what a stupid ability. Who gives a shit about that? The amount of times my players have been like, we put all this shit on Nera's back and she can't be encumbered, so she just walks fine. And I'm like, son of a bitch! They just carry whoever they want. I'm like, it is so much more useful than you think.
Whisking people around all willy-nilly.
That's what they're called. I'm pretty sure they're the boots of striding and springing. They have so many boots.
I'm just picturing like a monk walking around with like an elephant on their back.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. It looks like you also gain some self-restoration.
Self-restoration.
You can avoid levels of exhaustion you would normally accumulate when going without food or water. And at the end of your turn, end charmed, frightened, or poisoned condition on yourself.
Interesting.
So it's no longer a roll. See if it ends. It just done.
Interesting.
It's a weird change.
They removed like the your body has reached the pinnacle, so you can't get disease and stuff like that. You don't get tired and you don't age. And instead they were like, nah, you're the dragon warrior, bro. You can survive off a single drop of dew.
Not a single drop of dew.
The legendary single drop of dew.
Deflect energy is pretty cool because now you can do whatever you want. Like, any attacks coming in, you can be like, nah, I don't want that. So if you got a reaction, you might as well use it.
It's weird, though, because why... Like, when did the monk become the person that's just ignoring all energy types?
They're making it seem like, since they have so many magic actions now, that they're like physically in older editions there were like wizards and stuff that like physically were touching parts of the weave and like moving it around to get magic to do what they wanted it to do. It almost seems like they're making that the monks thing instead of wizards or artificers now, where the monk is like so in tune with the universe. The weave spoke to them and was like, I'm a lightning bolt, carry me. And the monk was like, yes, universe. And then they waxed on and waxed off this lightning bolt coming towards them.
Okay. You see, that is cool. That's something
can't
I would
be it.
imagine you did.
Yeah,
you
that
did
can't
with your
be
key.
it. Exactly.
Like that can't be something you did with your key. But what about your focus points? Could you manipulate the weave with your focus points and your martial arts die? I don't think so. You save that flavor for Flavor Town, not here. That kind of flavor doesn't belong here anymore.
Oh, I just skipped ahead. I shouldn't have skipped ahead.
What did you learn?
I skipped ahead to the epic boon that they think a monk should take. But right now we're on perfect focus, which I do not have. If when you roll initiative, you're below 4 focus points and don't use uncanny metabolism, you immediately regain enough FP to bring you up to 4. Why would you not use it?
FP. Not FP. Now it really sounds like a video game mechanic.
Well, because you can only use uncanny metabolism once per long rest.
Oh, okay. Okay. I was like, huh?
Perfect for when you're on your 5th or 6th encounter of the day. When does that happen?
I
Fairly
hear
all the
this
time.
all the time when people are like, oh, you know, when you're spreading out your XP to the party when they're fighting, you know, because you're supposed to engage them in like 7 fights per day. And I'm like, I can't get my players to... We had one fight for 20 hours in real time. I am not making them fight multiple encounters in one in-game day.
Yeah.
They're not gonna make it. They're not built for it.
Bothers.
And I get it, like my party size, me and DM Lacara's party size is bigger than average, but still, the amount of time wasted. Ah.
Yeah.
Okay. You eventually get superior defense. Start of your turn, you can expend 3 focus points to gain resistance to all damage types except force for 1 minute or until you're incapacitated. It's ideal when you're up against high-level enemies that are pummeling you with elemental damage, like the ancient white dragon's cold breath or a fire giant dreadnought's shield charge. Bold of you to assume I want to run them up to level 18 to survive these things.
Okay, this specific ability, if I was playing in a game that had a monk and a barbarian who's been tanking hits the whole time, if all of a sudden this lanky bitch who's been punching people for 18 levels looks at me and goes, I'm the tank now. Look at me. I'm the tank now. I would be so mad.
I want that to happen now. I want that to happen so bad now. I need that to occur. And I can't. Okami, let me play in a game of yours. I need to do this to you. I need to.
Look at me.
To watch.
I am the tank now.
I need to watch the lights go out when I do this to you.
Woo-wee!
Yeah, I would lose it. I would absolutely lose my mind.
However, the only way I would accept this is if the monk on my team like saw if you happened to be fighting like an ancient dragon, and it was like, and it was about to just unleash its breath, and the monk used their step of the wind, which they can now carry people, and they grabbed the barbarian and ran them out of the way, and then like stood behind them with their back towards the dragon and just like kind of flexed. That's the only time where I'd be like, okay, that was hella cool. I'm gonna put your back out because you're still on fire.
That is so wildly descriptive. Like, wow.
I like flavor.
Get out.
No, that was peak spicy, buddy.
They have to make the sound
That was
effects too, even though they don't get slowed down or anything.
Fair enough.
But this epic boon, this is what I read ahead to. At level 19, everybody gets an epic boon. And they give you, like, these articles all have been like, oh, this is the one we think you should take. So again, they want you to hit people with the monk. They're like, oh, you should take the boon of irresistible offense. And basically, any bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing damage you deal always ignores resistance. But again, at this point, I'm not dealing any of those. I'm dealing force, like, all the time. But when you get a crit, in addition to however your table plays crits, like some people just automatically max out the damage die. I like to do roll 2 of whatever, or roll double whatever your normal dice rolls are. In addition to that, you deal additional damage equal to the ability score, not the modifier, that you increase with this feat. So potentially it could be up to 30, but probably it'll be somewhere around 20. That's cool. That's a pretty big extra chunk.
Yeah. And a sizable one at that.
Or if it's your dump stat for some reason, maybe it's less. But you figure when you're near the top, you're probably, it's going to be almost maxed or close. Excuse me.
It's definitely an interesting little bonus to gain at level 20.
And then body and mind, instead of you basically being able to live forever, your dex and wisdom go up by 4 each to a maximum of 25, which is weird that the boons are all to a maximum of 30, and they come in at, your epic boon comes in at level 19, but at level 20, no, you stop at 25. Don't go any higher than that.
They want you to earn that last 5 the old-fashioned way. Hard work and determination, all right? You got to figure out a way to get to... And also, what ways are you anticipating me giving my players to reach these ungodly strength and dex and wisdom amounts?
If you assume... So, according to WotC, this is not my opinion, according to WotC, the game is balanced in the 2014 book over a whole campaign as if your players get like 1 or 2 magic items ever and none of them exist within the world. How the hell are you getting... do they expect all of the classes so far in 2024 to get to 30?
Magic. It's just gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
I don't understand.
I can't deal with the fact that this is putting the art into martial artist.
Hmm.
And not one place is fucking tattooist mentioned or anything. Like, we looked
Who?
at some feats for tattoos, which are great that monks can do. I actually think you should put, like, one of the feats we looked at a while back was Virtuous Tattooist, which was that a monk can draw a tattoo on somebody's body, and that tattoo represents a paladin spell, like up to level 3, and you can use up that tattoo to cast that spell. And I was like, yo, there has to be a world where there's monks of all kinds and they give people tattoos of all different classes. That's so cool. Like,
Oh, that's more like
yes.
Hanazaki stuff there.
Like, don't give me the actual canon stupid tattoo bullshit where your tattoo is on a magical needle that you have to attune to stab yourself with, and it takes up an attunement slot on your body, and it just gives you one thing, which isn't a spell usually. Like, why?
Yeah.
Stupidity. That's why.
Also, September 17th. These are shitty birthday presents. The new player's handbook. For me and Lacara. These are shitty presents.
You wanted better?
Oh man. This just hurts.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This is the best we could get you. We have D&D at home.
I'm not gonna lie. Anyone who's already played 5e, I can almost guarantee most of their tables are gonna be like, if someone new joins, they're gonna be like, oh, you guys using the new books? They'll be like, no, we have D&D at home.
Yeah. It's like there
That
is
is absolutely
nothing.
it's the only
that-
response.
There is nothing that has made me want to start a Powered by the Apocalypse campaign more than reading these changes.
Oh. It'll drive you mad. And I think what's really hilarious about all of this is that eventually WotC will only have this be 5th edition, or 5.5 as we've all been calling it.
Mm.
Like, this is all there's going to be. And we as DMs are going to probably have to adjust to it. We're gonna have to
just gonna become the like that generation that like only ever played 3.5,
Yeah.
no matter what.
I'm prepared for that.
Yep.
I am more prepared for that. Okay, cool. I'm glad we have a better plan than mine.
Those are the people that I
Yeah.
grew up with. I am so used to that.
Yeah.
I was prepared to give up. I'm glad we have a better plan than mine.
And like they can, especially since there's so many people playing online on D&D Beyond, like, you can keep putting legacy tags on whatever you want. Like, I know that that's the good stuff. You can keep trying to hide it from me, but I know that that's the good stuff.
we know where you keep the good stuff. All right, we've cracked open the closet.
And like, granted, there are some things, sure, I'll give my players from 2024, but like, so far, like, again, this one not so much as the other classes we've looked at. Like, they expect you to know what you want your character to be doing at level 20 at level 1.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, nobody knows that.
Yeah.
Not
The
until you
DM didn't
played
even
the
know you're
game.
getting there.
Yeah. The DM's probably not planning on you getting there.
If I
you
plan
get
for you to get to
there-
level 20,
Like, if you as a character, if you as a PC get to where you were trying to get to at level 20, your DM wasn't doing their job.
yeah. If I just gave you the cleanest path to do whatever the hell you wanted, irregardless of adapting to the times, I failed you.
Yeah.
Nothing I did intrigued you? Well, I'm sorry.
Nothing I did made you say, "Oh shit." Like, I'm sad now.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't crack a single tear from you. Sadness. Infinite sadness. Profound sadness at that.
Profound sadness.
Like the sadness we feel about this monk.
Yeah, the monk.
I don't even have my arms anymore. They tried to give Warrior of the Elements my arms. Don't take my arms.
I'll be honest, of all the things this could be, this is not it.
Mm-mm.
I kind of wish they had left things well enough alone and would just give us back old monk, really.
Okay. Fist joined the chat. So, one of the subclasses for monk that's been in the game for a long time is Warrior of the Open Hand, and like they have their final technique is called Quivering Palm, and I know you will love this. We're gonna ignore what the current game says. Well, what the future game says. The original game, you hit someone with Quivering Palm. You deal the damage from your strike, but basically you apply like a, well, we can call it was key then. You apply a key grenade to the inside of their body. Wherever they are, it doesn't even state they have to be on the same plane as you. If they travel to a different plane and it's within that 24 hours, you can just go, I really don't like that guy, and detonate this key grenade inside of them, and they instantly drop to 0.
Just drop.
You
the
would
sheer
love that.
power. Sheer power.
Yep.
Taken away. And for what?
I'm just thinking of it now as like, I hadn't thought of it this way, but I had been, so DM Lacara, I had been talking to DM Shin about some of the psychic goblins that they have in Phandelver and below, and one of their abilities is a psychic knife. So there's a X-Man, but it's a girl, so an X-woman, who has a psychic knife and a psychic katana, and like that's her thing. And the way that they have it is like, you can now, this psychic goblin can either like stab you with the psychic knife, or he can shoot it / throw it at you, and it like it messes your head up when it connects with you. It also does damage, but it messes your head up. And the X-woman, Psylocke, one of her things, like one of her greatest abilities is she does brain grenades. Like she stabs you in the head with one of her psychic weapons, and she just leaves something there, and later on she can pop it like Quivering Palm, and it just like, it gives you an aneurysm, and you're just like, blah, 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 and you just collapse. And I'm like, Quivering Palm is like the same thing, but I'm imagining they're probably hitting you in like your solar plexus, and just like all your insights just fail immediately.
It was such a cool move. And the vast majority of PCs would never get there, but just knowing you had the ability was so good.
Because you wanted to see it.
Yeah.
Like, you wanted to see Quivering Palm go off.
I mean, I just wanted to make an evil monk NPC just to use it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, there were so many dreams I had. As sad as it sounds, but like, so many dreams I had of reaching that point. And now it's just kind of like, give up. You're never going to have that cool like duel moment with an enemy NPC where you, like Okami was saying, you hit them and a day later you're kind of like sitting there drinking tea and you're just like, I hope they had a good day. Boom.
That specifically, that's amazing. You give someone, you smack someone with Quivering Palm, and you like, you tell the DM like I'm not doing any more combat in this way. Like I put my fist up against my other open palm and I bow to this guy, and I just tell him, you have 24 hours to put your affairs in order, but you're no longer welcome on this plane. And you just walk away, and they're like, what? They better spend that 24 hours good.
Yeah, like you're sitting there, and then imagine also being the player, like DMing through you, going on forward. Let's say it's like at the beginning of the session, you're going forward. Towards the end of your session, you're in the middle of combat's about to start. These guys are just like, oh yeah, we got sent by so and so to take you out, and it's the guy who didn't take you seriously. And it's like 23 hours and 58 minutes. And you're like, oh, that guy? That friggin' guy? Oh, him? Clenched fist. It just, everything goes black. And he just drops. And you're like, ask your boss if he still wants to fight me.
Or
the flavor.
You make an entire campaign out of just being that you get hired by people, and you don't fight them or anything. You just, walk up to them, sit down, have a drink, slap them on the back on your way out, and then the next day they just drop dead.
Your what is his name? Not Kenshiro, but yes, it is very much Omae wa mou shinderu. Like, yeah, you are already dead. I think his name is Teshu. I'm not 100% sure. But in the Tenchu series, they added a third character later on, and he's a doctor and a monk, and he uses senbon, so like the little needles that you use for like acupuncture and stuff.
Like the ones in Kiss of the Dragon?
Yes, like the ones in Kiss of the Dragon. And he, like, his thing is, people hire him as an assassin, and he'll be like, oh, I've come to cure you of your ailments, and he pops a few pressure points, and he leaves. And then, like, a couple hours after he leaves, that person's just going about their day, and they just drop dead. Like, you could run an evil campaign that way. That is awesome!
Ooh.
Or very, like, Blade of the Immortal, but, way less gore.
Still, that's dope. That's
Be
really
the evil NPC you need to see in the world.
Dungeon Mommy!
Oh my goodness.
We got a
Oh my goodness gracious. Is this?
Hey.
I think I almost cried.
Oh my god.
Ooh. I held my emotions together.
Hey, kids.
Hey. You missed the debacle that is the monk.
I've been secretly listening to your evil plans for like 10 minutes, and I'm really enjoying myself.
Good.
Listen, they're only evil if they come to fruition.
Ooh.
That's very fair.
And who said that we're going to be taking out necessarily good people?
It's true.
No, players are absolutely evil, so I would not mind killing them like this.
Okay, hear me out. You run this campaign, it's a Warrior of Shadow and a Warrior of Open Hand now. And the Warrior of Shadow, you get that ability.
You mean
where
the ninja?
Yeah, the ninja. He does his invisibility thing. He can run while carrying people. His speed is absurd. So he carries this guy invisible through towns. The invisibility doesn't break when you strike. So if this guy's like, if he's piggybacking this way of the open hand monk, runs through town, turns invisible, they quivering palm some dude doesn't know it's happening. He's just like, my titty feels weird. He goes about his day, and then he just drops dead.
Listen, I will only allow it if the other monk carrying him is literally carrying him while waving his arms like lemon grab.
I was thinking
He
the
has
monk
to be-
carrying him has to be tiny, and the guy he's carrying has to be huge.
Yes. Yes. Yes, it has to be entirely disproportionate. and it has to be like the quickest like drive-by slap, just whop, and just gone.
Also, I demand that the lore that the people make about what's happening is like a being called the Silent Killer.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like it is a fart.
Everyone just remembers that something smells terrible in the area of where they died.
Oh yeah, the guy he's carrying around just like stinks so fucking bad.
That was it. That was one of the things in the at the very beginning of the episode. I was talking about how Wargamer just put out an article of the 10 most moments of the new player's handbook, and one of them is that infernal tieflings, all of them smell like sulfur, and they can't control it. They all smell terrible.
That's awful.
Also, elves.
Add that.
Elves have no body hair.
Yeah, they have to. They made it clear. Elves have no body hair except for they only grow hair on their eyebrows and on top of their heads. No more hair.
As I said earlier, all of you out there discard your Henry Cavill as an elf fantasies because it's not happening. That beard is gone.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, that's terrible.
It's gone.
I mean, elves were never supposed to have beards, but I hope they had left out the eyebrows because I really wanted to picture every elf as like
gone. Nope. Now that they have no body hair, gone.
No
eyebrows.
Every single one of them, no hair, no eyebrows, none.
No eyebrows.
I mean, then they're just aliens.
They're elves. That's why only other elves will find them attractive. Or people who really don't give a fuck about eyebrows. Like, eyebrows, I could do without them.
Alright, on that note, I gotta go.
Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for coming by, DM Lacara.
I love you guys.
I love you too. One of these days, we're gonna get the full five-person party. One of
my
these
god,
days.
that would be a feat.
Yeah, that'd be impressive.
That would be mayhem.
It might be an epic boon at this point.
Wish people could find out more. Maybe it'll even be a cool Patreon episode that you subscribe to the Patreon to witness.
Whoa.
Bro, I gotta get us robes, man.
Robes?
Yeah, it's gotta be like Shits and Gigs' log cabin.
Wait a minute, hold on. If we upgrade to robes, I will literally have to get like a bubble pipe.
Okay, but also I will have to fly out to you so we can do this all in person.
I would have to.
Listen, we have one player, Creepshow Kate, our Verdant player, who now has eye stalks. Consequences of her own actions. But she's from the Midwest, and she actually did fly out once to play D&D with us. So, hey, stranger things have happened.
We'll make it happen.
Yeah, our artificer was in town last week, and I was like, dang it, if I had known sooner and it had been across a Friday, I just would have had Okami come down and we could have had our entire party actually in person.
Whoa!
That's cool.
She would have been impressive because we're spread across like 3 time zones, but...
That's insane, though.
Yeah.
Wait! Is the Artificer the only one who's not, like, there, besides me and Rindell, when Rindell plays? Huh.
Yep.
I didn't realize that.
Woey.
This is how small the world is, folks. Literally.
Arvin, are you still here? Dungeon Mommy's here. I need to say
They need to research cannibalism.
Yep. We were talking about that because lizard folks can't be into cannibalism anymore because it's wrong. Even though returning the warmth to the tribe is one of the hardest fucking lines anyone could ever say.
I mean, listen. Not anymore.
You want that kind of flavor? You get that old mentality. You get that 2014 out of here.
2024. Okay, okay.
Bro.
We in the 2-fold.
Whoa.
Okay.
Oof.
No more time for 14s. We're 24 now.
I'm
We're
gonna go
adult.
bust open a Monster of the Week guidebook.
Yeah.
I'm out of here.
Have a good night.
Have a good night.
Good night, guys.
Good night.
This is the kind of nonsense you get here at DM Roundtable.
Oh, okay. So, at D&Dversary 4, we got into this conversation because we were talking about. I was telling the rest of the group the ideas for if Dungeon Mommy were to come here and like where we could house her for Comic-Con. So I was sitting across from Grim and Jack DT, who were both playing my campaign. And I was telling them like we can't send you to Jack DT's house because that'd be wrong, and it's weird to just send a girl over there that he's never that I've never met before. And so I turned to Grim, and I was like, there it could be a year where I go and stay at DT's house, even if he's not coming to Comic-Con, and then Dungeon Mommy can come stay with you, but I'm pretty sure she wouldn't be able to leave the house without your mom making sure that she married you. And and Valley of Egeria looks up and goes, Dungeon Mommy's married. And I was like, huh? And then I was like, oh, you mean Lacara? No. The Dungeon Mommy is... Lacara is a mommy, but not the kind of mommy that Dungeon Mommy is.
Yeah, these are different levels of mother. Okay, this is...
No, I'm a mommy. Unfortunately, I'm not a mother yet.
Clear
That's
delineation,
too funny. That's so funny.
Clear delineation.
Oh, but then speaking on that, perchance one of your friends have gotten, well, actually, no, now that I say it, that sounds crazy because I don't think you have my phone number. But I did receive a text today that says, when can I see you? And it's from an unknown number, and the number is from Virginia, which is not near me. And I said, I don't know who you are.
Yeah, that seems like a safe answer.
But I was like, oh, LOL. Did Okami play a prank on me and like give my phone number to one of his friends? But just now talking about it, I was like, wait, he does not have my phone number.
Whoop. I just texted the wrong... Whoop, I just texted Lacara. Sorry. That was for mommy.
Oh man. Welcome to DM Roundtable. No. I guess.
So the mystery continues.
Yeah, right. We just traded Discords. I don't have your phone number.
Yeah. Because, you honestly, it probably would have been safer for a phone number.
Oh God.
But no, instead I got some guy who, Discord chatted me all the time and then said, hey, you're a dungeon master. And I said, barely. And then he said, come on this stream with me.
Yay!
So here I am.
And that's the way we do it here at DM Roundtable. This table's round and there's enough spaces for everyone because the table is digital.
Yeah!
Well, actually, I guess that means what's the max number of people you can have in a Nitro chat? I think regular chat is 12.
Oh, really?
Something like that.
Okay,
so there is a limit on
like
DM Roundtable.
30.
Okay, sort of.
We got something
I had no idea
like
there was
30.
limits to how many people you could have.
I don't know how. I think you can get more people in a server chat than a private chat.
Sure.
Because
That
I
makes
know... okay, I don't know if this ages me or confuses people about my age, but like, I'm still into, from my childhood, like stick figure videos. So Hyun's Dojo is probably like the biggest stick
Yo, I
figure
love
community
Dojo.
in the world,
I love
and
that shit.
every Christmas they get together in their server and they sing a Christmas carol together, and it
Aw.
is one of the funniest things ever because like not everybody in that server has good internet, not everyone has a good mic, and
That's even better.
some people are lagging, some people aren't, and it is just such a fun community event that everyone is trying to sing, but the internet is like, you know what, I'm just gonna, sure, you guys would be great in chorus, let me just tweak that a bit.
That sounds
iconic.
iconic.
Is that pitch? Is that harmony? No more. There we go. Get a little zap of that.
And they have like they have at least 100 people in there, so I know in a
Holy
server
cow.
chat you can have a lot of people. I'm trying to think. I feel like the most people we've ever had for any event, I feel like there was a time we played Fistful of Frags with like 16 people in one chat. But we were on a server, not in...
That just seems overwhelming.
It was a lot.
It was a lot of voices. Oh yeah, that did happen. That did happen.
We've also found, like, as a group, so one of the things we do on this channel is DM Roundtable, where we get together with some DMs, but Okami Gakure Plays is way older than that, and we're supposed to play a 4+ player game. We did find over the years that if you're playing games that have teams, and you put everyone in the same chat, it is absolute chaos.
Oh my god, yeah, because you're trying to communicate with your team, but like then the other team thinks that you're talking to them.
Yeah.
Rip.
Especially when you don't know everyone personally. So you're like, huh? Yeah, no, I'm coming to save you. I'm behind this guy looking like a cowboy, and the guy who's looked like a cowboy on the enemy team is like, wait, who's behind me?
Oh my god.
Yep.
It's like, no, split yourselves. Have multiple voice chats for those moments.
Even I'm gonna make a joke about this because I got DT to play. He was here. He stayed over after our D&Dversary game, and I finally got him to start up Star Wars Hunters, so he played through the tutorial and what have you, and I was like, I love that in the year 2024, for us to play the same game together, we have to be on different floors of the house. So I was downstairs playing on the TV, and he was on his Switch in the kitchen, which was on the main floor, and I'm screaming up to him, and he's just ignoring me completely, and I was like, alright, cool, I guess us playing together doesn't really matter.
LOL.
He was in the zone.
Among Us was also a lot of people. I don't know if it
wow.
was 16, but it was a lot of people.
Oh my god, you could have a game of 16 people?
I think...
No, I thought you could only have 10.
No, I think there's new modes now that Among Us is like even bigger.
Bruh.
Among Us was a very... Oh, speaking of Okami Gakure Plays, even though this isn't the same stream,
it's all you
here, but it is all Okami Gakure stuff. Please do your civic duty and put in your votes for the 15th for the next game to get added.
Yeah.
Vote, share the episodes, like, comment, and subscribe. Do all the fun things. Click a whole bunch of buttons.
Yay!
Get angry at yourself.
Among Us game was big. I wish we could have more big... Like, in this day and age, it's so hard for us to get together as a group just to get just the basic 4 people. I wish it was easier, like back in the day. Even like
I also feel like Among Us was just such a simple game that you could convince essentially anyone to play it, you know?
Mhm. That's definitely part of it, for sure. It was simple, and like everyone had it. Like if you played games, you just had it.
Yeah.
Okay, question, since you're here, Dungeon Mommy.
Yes.
When did your group start their campaign? This is just a random question I'm throwing off. Like what month did you guys start?
We started in January.
Oh, damn. Okay, no.
Falls in the timeline. Though.
What's the timeline?
We made a comment
So,
earlier that it seems like August is the best month to start. Everyone seems to start in August.
But I said to Okami that between August and January is when you catch people, because you're telling people as they're getting stuck inside, or they've been trapped inside for a bit, and you're like, "Hey, you want to try this D&D thing I found?" And they're like, yeah, why not? Like, what could it hurt? And bam, you're trapped.
That's very, very true. Our anniversary is January 21st.
Oh, I don't know what day we started.
No, I know what day we started because like on my DM notes, every session we have, I like mark with the date that we actually have it. But then, I have a party full of the girlies, so they like to celebrate anniversaries like that.
Oh.
Isn't that cute?
All right, this may be TMI. You don't have to answer it if you don't want to. Have any of you play more than this? This doesn't make sense to you. I have a player in my game who, for a while, was synced to D&D time.
Oh, what do you mean by synced?
So we only played once a month, and it somehow became that whenever we played,
every single time.
Every single time.
Oh, that sounds terrible.
I was like, is this a... And when I mentioned it, I was like, because obviously I'm the one who throws out the trash, so I see what's in there and what have you. I was like, I don't mean this in a weird Abed way, but like, I feel like your body knows when it's time to play D&D. And she was like, oh my god, yes it does. You are correct.
So we play bi-weekly essentially, so realistically, I don't know if it ever like truly syncs up to that, but if something was going to be synced up, because of the bi-weekliness, so you'd have one session where they're on their period and the other one where they're ovulating. And so it really shows in the gameplay which one is which, because like 1 week they're like, let's kill everyone, and the next week, then in 2 weeks they're like, let's fuck everyone.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna make a timestamp for this, and it's called the Lady Lore.
Yeah.
You know what? I've learned a lot just now, and I feel like I've got a peek behind the veil of answers that I wasn't supposed to see, and I'm going to take this knowledge to the grave. I'm going to be old. I'm going to teach this to my son on my deathbed, like, son.
Did you know that you play Dungeons and Dragons bi-weekly with your lady friends,
you can sync their ovulation and menstrual cycles? You can create chaos, son.
I don't know if they're all synced up to each other, but like at least one is going through one of the two options I've stated.
Oh no.
Someone at my table is on their period, and or someone at my table is ovulating. So it never is just chill.
I've never thought about that. This is like I've never had to deal with it. I've never had to think about it, But now in thinking about it, that's actually wild.
Yeah, I mean, I have 4 women at my table. The probability of all of that is like very high.
Also, like, again, your table, like, in general, is like so far out of the norm
Yeah.
in so many ways, and it's so cool that like we're all playing the same game. Obviously we're all playing it differently, like our styles are different here and there, but even
Right.
like the makeup of our tables is all different, and that's cool.
I know, it's fascinating to me. Like, I forget, like, obviously every single meme on the internet is like, oh, when a girl joins your D&D table and you're like, what's happening? But like,
Yes.
I've literally never been a part of a campaign that has had more men than women. Never.
That's crazy.
And it's fucking wild. And I forget about that sometimes. I forget that I am like not part of the statistic. And like we went to the Kansas City Comic-Con and the guy, like some guy was talking about how he made a book about D&D and whatnot, and then was like asking other DMs and players questions, and all these DMs had, you know, your stereotypical problems that you see on the internet, and my players were like, have these guys ever heard of the power of friendship? I think if we all just were best friends, everything would be solved.
Gotta keep that positivity elsewhere.
Yeah. I have my 2 best friends at the table. One of them is a problem.
It's exclusively for moments like that, because they are evil in game. They like started off trying to be good. Now they've just decided, dang it, I guess we're gonna have to be evil.
At a certain point, you embrace evil in D&D. Like, there's a lot of fun to be had when you take your character out of what you usually are as a person.
Oh yeah.
Like, I think the first time I actually role played a character was role playing a character that I did like a few years ago, and it was figuring out how it would feel to be a down on my luck merchant who really just wanted to sell potions and wound up solving crime. Like,
that is, yeah, I love that.
Like, he doesn't know how he got here, and he hates it.
I also
But
definitely want to stress something that clubs told us way back when, in that like the first character you play in D&D is 9 times out of 10 is just you plus.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Yeah, 100%. It 100% is.
It just got to be that way, man.
And you get used to it, and then eventually you get tired of just being just you, and you start adding those weird flavors to it. You're like, what if I was dark and gothic and like played up the emo side of things, and like everything was dark and melancholy? And then sometimes you're like, oh, I want to be the super chipper, like happy-go-lucky person, or like the suave, or try to be suave. Like, so many different options essentially get dropped in your lap at that point. And none of them are wrong.
None of them are wrong. I mean, like every single one of the characters you make, I think, is just gonna have like a little bit of you, even though you try and make it the complete opposite. Like you can try so hard, but like it's just not gonna happen. It's always gonna have a piece of you in there somewhere, because like that's kind of what made you want to be something in the first place, I feel. But then sometimes you like create something and then you intended to play it one way, and then you absolutely play it the other, and that also, I feel, shows that like those things that you changed that you intended on doing and changed at the last minute are like just the most deep parts of you being like, okay, I actually can't do that.
Oh.
Like I made a bard and he has a 20 charisma. He is the Rizzler.
Mm.
But guess what? I started speaking and he has autism, Riz. Did I intend that? Not at all. But that's just kind of what ended up happening.
We in our campaign, I've said this before, Grimjack's race he's a Blood of Sparta tiefling. So like he's supposed to be like Dante and Virgil. And Blood of Sparta tieflings start with the Vicious Mockery cantrip.
Mhm.
And he was like, yeah, I'm gonna be like Spider-Man out there on the field. And the first time he used Vicious Mockery, he was like, ew, it doesn't deal enough damage. And then he was like, wait, I have to think of things to say when I mock people? And we were like, you don't necessarily have to. You could just roll, but it's certainly cooler if you actually come up with an insult.
I agree.
Like, he's like, I'll just never use the ability ever. No, thank you.
Damn.
I'm like, oh man, that sucks. Like, that's what you went into that character thinking that you were gonna do.
Yeah, for real.
Speaking of things that he went into that character being excited about, he's got a transformation. He's got Devil Trigger. He used it for the first time. No, he used it for the first time in, I'm gonna say, a year and a half on D&Dversary 4. Because the floor was lava. It wasn't actually lava, but he just didn't want to touch the floor. And he was like, you know what? I'm gonna Devil Trigger. And I'm just sitting there looking at him like, you know, you could have Devil Triggered in that life or death battle you were in where you went down 3 times. You regenerate when you're in that form. But no, the floor is lava, so I'm gonna pop my wings.
Listen, you gotta. You can't always get what you want.
Fist, please do. Don't tell
if
him.
You try sometimes. You get what you need.
It's true.
Yes.
Fist, don't tell him you're going to do it. Just send him a huge document of insults. Please. Please.
Oh, I would pay to hear that.
Also, part of his problem is that he's constantly... Okay, so because you've probably never seen the stat block for Vicious Mockery. Vicious Mockery is a save. You insult someone. The cool thing about it is they don't have to understand the language that you're speaking. They just have to hear that words are coming out, and they know through magic that you're insulting them. And then they make a save. They fail the save. They take damage. And they have disadvantage on whatever they do next. So basically it means there's a chance they're going to fuck up whatever their next roll is. So it's actually very powerful. Like, it doesn't do a lot of damage, but it messes up whatever they're going to do next. So Grim was constantly complaining that he has no ranged abilities. He literally has an attack that works on anyone that has ears.
No, he has no ranged abilities.
What are you talking about? Most people in D&D don't have ears.
Also true. Ballsy of you to assume there's ears involved.
How ableist of you.
Yeah, for real. Like,
you're gonna get me kicked out of 2024 book.
We apologize to all our listeners who don't have ears that Okami just said that.
We hope that you can truly understand our apology is heartfelt and sincere.
Yeah.
I can't afford to pay someone to make closed captions. I'm sorry.
But we can if you subscribe to the
That's true.
Patreon,
if you subscribe to the Patreon or become a member on YouTube, I can afford to pay someone to make closed captions.
So help us help you. Help Okami.
On the first episode we'll be doing that for is this one right here.
This episode is not sponsored by anyone, sadly.
Technically, this video here and everything that's coming out recently is sponsored by. Okay, so YouTube-wise, they're sponsored by Burning Punch and Bacon and DM Lacara, and then Twitch-wise, they're sponsored by Shin and. Oh, now I feel really bad. I think someone else has a Prime sub for me, but I don't know who it is. I don't know how to. I know how to see them. I have to go in and look, but I know you have one, Shin. I don't know who the other person is though.
Your mom.
It's my sister. Close. It's one of my sisters. The other one can't figure out how to link their account.
Slay.
Listen, join us. Use the Prime sub. You don't mind.
Yeah, if you're not using them and you have them, like, I'm not gonna say no.
Imagine you get a Prime sub. No, take it back. Use that elsewhere.
You.
Take that money. I will always laugh. I used to follow this guy on YouTube. He used to do so much Team Fortress 2 and other random video content named Stir, and he spent a while like making his own TTRPG system and what have you. But he like left YouTube for a really long time. But when he first jumped onto Twitch, he set up his thing so that you could get emotes and stuff if you joined him at certain tiers. And his like membership status thing used to literally say, for $4.99 you can get this cheeseburger emote. Or you can actually go to the store and get something of value, a real cheeseburger for $4.99. I mean, like, it's up to you if you want to give me the $4.99, or you could go eat. I'll appreciate it, but like, you could get a real cheeseburger for this.
Man of the people.
And I'm like, I feel that. I feel that.
Weighing your options for you, that's a real man of the people, if you ask me. I'd vote that person for president.
I'd vote anyone for president.
Yep.
Vote Murmur for president.
Vote Murmur. Look, Murmur can come chill, and then we also have another buddy now. You can get both of them on screen at once.
His VP. That's his VP right there.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, wait, do you know who I'm gonna vote for president? Puddin'.
Puddin'?
Puddin'.
Oh my god.
Puddin' for president. Puddin' for president. We never forget about you, Puddin'.
For a second, I thought you meant Harley Quinn and then the Joker, and then I was like, no, I don't think so.
No, I'm not gonna do that.
We're not.
And then I went to, because we re-brought this up during D&Dversary. So like 2 years ago, during a session in the summer, it was super, super hot in my house, and it was during the time that like we weren't using the AC, and so it was so hot that everyone started taking off their shirts. And like everyone got their shirt off except the Laundry King. He was like the last one to take his shirt off. And he takes his shirt off and he sits next to Grimjack. And after he takes his shirt off, Grimjack turns to him, looks him in his eyes and goes, "You look like Putin." And
Bro.
the Laundry King like went, "Oh."
Shut it down.
And just put his shirt back on slowly.
Yeah.
That's
And now we bring it up all the time.
Yeah.
I'll never let it be forgotten.
Speaking of that, I think since Dungeon Mommy's here, have you added any good things to your quotes folder for your D&D party? Because I got some
Oh,
bangers from
oh my gosh, you
D&Dversary.
finally started doing it?
Yes, I did.
Oh my god, hold on, let me look. My mouse is being a turd nugget.
Welcome to DM Roundtable After Hours, where
Mhm, mhm.
clearly everything is being discussed that wasn't discussed during regular DM Roundtable.
Our first one of the game is in character, so this is Goblin Slayer speaking to Grimalkin. Goblin Slayer's our ranger, Grimalkin's one of our 2 paladins, and Grimalkin was talking about like, oh, how he has to do so much stuff, and like he's got everyone has like multiple roles to fulfill, but like he's got so many things to do, and Goblin Slayer looks at him and goes, "You're like a punching bag that heals."
Love. Okay, give me a second. I think I have one. Okay, so what I have, I think since last time, did I tell you about how I said someone else in my party can't read?
Yes.
Okay, so from that, one of my players were torturing someone they've been kind of trying to kill and chase after for a while now, and
remember, they're evil.
Yeah, they're evil. And she said, the consequences will be beyond your wildest dreams, and I will call your mother.
Oh no.
To be fair, they did have a magical rock that summoned this NPC's mother, so she wasn't lying.
Oh shit.
They did in fact call her mother, by the way.
I love it.
My next quote also involves parents, but not in a literal sense. This one was out of character. Valley Vajiria is they're trying to figure out how they... Oh, I didn't tell the rest of you guys this. So one of the points that I was trying to get them to go to do something is that I gave... One of my players has been talking to what they now know is a black dragon, but within the world, he doesn't really want people to know that he's a dragon, because that would be bad. And so he's just known as like the creature in the mirror. And he gave Goblin Slayer an omen, which is a like acid bleached femur of some humanoid. It was probably a human at one time. And the deal is that Goblin Slayer is supposed to shatter the omen when the time is right. And the bargain that he made was, I will deliver you exotic meat. He won't tell the rest of the party what the bargain was. He's only telling the rest of the party that the creature said he'll know when the time is right. And the problem with this is that he was also told, like, if you fail me again, bad things are going to happen to you. Because he's already failed his new patron once. And so what I've been doing is every day at dusk that he hasn't shattered the omen, because he didn't break the omen during their life or death battle. And I was like, interesting. Okay. Every day at dusk, a layer of the bone sort of sloughs off as though it were flesh, and it smells like decay.
Ew.
And so every day this bone is getting smaller and smaller to the point where it will crack. And they're having that kind of discussion. And the rest of the party is like, obviously you're on a timer. You have to do something. What do you have to do? And Goblin Slayer just keeps going, I told you the strong thing in the mirror told me I would know when to use it. And so they're like, can we send a message to that thing in the mirror? And I was like, as a DM, I'm going to tell you that technically, you can send a message to someone you don't know the name of, because the way that sending works is you have to know this person, and you have to you don't have to know their actual name. You could know a pseudonym of theirs. You could know an epithet of theirs to send them a message if you don't personally know them. And then we got into a separate argument over if you're disguising yourself and your voice, can you dial someone else? But the components are that the person who you're calling knows who you are, so it's not going to work. You can't disguise yourself to send a call through this. But Valley of Egeria goes, you can banana phone your dragon daddy.
Bro.
You can banana phone your dragon daddy. I have never in my history heard such a statement.
I just want Grim to be confused. He does know you come to these streams, though. That he doesn't come to anymore, which is both good and bad.
LOL.
You won't know the plans against him.
Yeah. He won't know how funny this will be to the rest of us. He'll be like, this just insulted me 45 times and I don't know why.
That's exactly how it goes too.
Yeah.
That's the part. That was actually a spot on mimicry of
I have 2 more quotes also.
Ooh,
Yes, please.
Okay, so the other one is just, one of my players are casting Shillelagh, and they go, Shillelagh.
I love this.
And then the final one I have so far is they had a realtor. We've been playing the same day for 4 sessions because so much has fucking happened in that day. We finally are out of that day.
Hell yeah.
We got a long rest after last session, but they had a realtor show up and talk to him for the in the beginning of this day. That was 4 sessions ago, And so they're like, when is this guy going to get back? We send him to find us a home, which is a cave, by the way. We sent him to find a cave, and he's not back yet. What the hell? And I said, it has been maybe 12 hours. And so they sent him a letter, and it said a bunch of different stuff, but one of the quotes from the letter was, I heard that you are the best realtor in the Black Hollows, but maybe the crown was mistaken. And this is 12 hours after they seen this guy who has to find them a cave for a home. Not a home, a cave for a home.
Oh my god. I see that your players too, I had a discussion at the beginning, that I've realized after 4 years that my players don't understand that time passes when we talk about things. My players seem to think that the only time that's passing is the IRL time that we're discussing what they're doing, that their characters are doing it instantly. So we can't get anywhere. And
yeah.
One of our arguments was, I was like, okay, this guy's 4 days away. Dusk passed on the last day. Oh, when this came up, it was this guy was 3 days away. Dusk passed, dawn comes. They're like, how far away is this guy? And I'm like, oh, he's 2 days away now. And they're like, last time you said he was 3 days away. And it took everything in my being not to say out loud, yes, that's how days work.
You should have said that. You should have said that.
You needed to say that.
These people, man.
That was our guest player's character is still... He's going to get there the next... Well, assuming they survive the night. The next day he will arrive.
Survive the night.
My
No, that's
players have been
actually-
doing some fucking dumb shit. So I
boy.
had told people before that they let some were-rats into town and they're trying to like lure them onto their side. And they're like, yeah, we're going to make sure that we keep track of them at night. So the were-rats are in a room at the same inn as them. They're just in the next room over.
Oh.
They have the boys and the girls, and then another group of adventurers, and then the were-rats. And this place is like adjacent to the beach in town, but not like you still have to like go through things to get to the beach. And they're like, we're gonna watch these were-rats. So two of them are like, can I climb out the window and chill on the roof? I just want to stare at the sky tonight. And I was like, okay. I'm pretty sure you can both get out of there. Goblin Slayer, because he's a ranger, he has a climb speed. I'm like, you can just climb out the window. And then our barbarian, who's a Goliath, I was like, I'm pretty sure you can just reach outside and then pull yourself up onto the roof. Like, you're a big, strong dude. And I'm like, where are you guys looking to see where these were-rats might be? And they both go, I'm going to look at the moon all night. And I was like, all right, cool. And then our rogue goes, I'm going to sit in the beach and just look out into the ocean for the rest of the night. And I was like, okay. She goes, I'll see if someone's coming to the beach. And I was like, from the sea? Sure, okay. And the other two players go, yeah, I'm going to meditate in my room. And the other one goes, I'm asleep. I'm tired. And I was like, excellent job watching these were-rats at night. Just excellent job. Did we see any of them? No.
Did they run away?
One of them sure does come in and out. I know that the two players who are watching the sky at night never watch the streams, so I don't have to worry. One of the other players might tell them when they watch the VOD. They're looking up at the sky, but they're still not seeing what's happening in the sky.
It is the nighttime, you know.
Wow, this is awesome. Good job. Good job, y'all.
Wee woo! Sometimes your players do stuff and you're like, oh boy.
Mm-hmm. One of our players volunteered to be drowned in last session, so there's that. I also learned that, okay, so there's a creature, I think it's actually a 3.5 creature, called is it the Dark Tentacles? Yeah, it's the Dark Tentacles.
Yeah.
And it has an aura where it fills your lungs with water. And the more water that's in your lungs, unless you're amphibious, obviously, you gain levels of exhaustion, and like this can kill you if obviously you hit level 6 exhaustion. So I assumed that was how suffocation worked, like in normal rules, but apparently in the normal rules of suffocation, once you've exhausted your breath, which is however many minutes your con modifier is, plus like 2 rounds or something, whatever, you don't need to know that, your health just drops to 0.
Oh, great.
And I was like,
saving.
I thought you would get really tired first. No, you just pass out. And then you roll your death saves.
I guess in a way, though, it is fair because they're essentially saying you haven't been saved by now. You're tired. You're going under. And hopefully your death saves will bring you to the surface or bring you back up in time to because obviously you survive your death saves, you float to the surface. You know what I mean? And they just have to rescue your body. The danger is now you're an unconscious corpse in the water.
Yeah.
Right.
I always thought also that your con modifier was how many rounds you could survive. But if it's based on your minutes surviving, if you're in a combat situation, the chances of you drowning, very, very small. If you're outside of combat...
You're kidding.
right? You'd have to go. We'll just say the average person, not counting Grimalkin, who has con as a dump stat, has a +2 in con or higher. So
Stop it. Stop it.
you gotta go 20 rounds of combat. Well, more because of it's a minimum.
God, that would be horrendous. I hope to God I never have to actually play 20 rounds of combat.
That.
Yeah, that would be.
We had a conversation about this earlier, talking about the monk thing. They're like, oh, this is the perfect ability for when you're running 5 or 6 encounters a day, and we were like, why the fuck would you do that? And then
I could run maybe 1.5.
Like, I know
6
there are plenty
encounters
of
a
like,
day?
I know there are plenty of people who are running the game the way that like WotC intended, where you're just constantly throwing fights at your players during the day.
Sure.
But like IRL time, I ran a combat. That combat that took me 23 hours real life time was only on round 8.
What are you talking about?
It was awful.
Yeah. No,
That
he's
was
not
their
joking.
life or death battle.
Wait, hold on. There was a big battle that took 23 hours of real life time
Yes.
to fit. Oh, I'm hoping this is not consecutively.
No, not consecutively.
Amazing. Holy cow.
Actually, no, it might have been not 23. I'm gonna say like 19, which is still not good.
No. That's like way too damn long.
And they all freaking survived too. That's the worst part.
Whoa. You said this was supposed to kill everyone.
I mean, supposed is a strong word. They all were playing incredibly shitty at the beginning. They should
Fair
be
enough.
dead. And then the dice joined their side. Also, I misread something. If I hadn't misread a thing about how Dragon's Fear works, they would probably all be dead.
Fair enough, fair enough.
But Oathbreaker Paladin's Frightful Presence, you don't have to see that person to still be afraid of them. So I had that stat block up while I was looking at the Dragon's one. The Dragon's one, you do need to see them. And I was like, God damn it. His hand already left.
Damn.
I was like, I'm not rewinding time again.
Nope.
One of my players made me rewind time. They were like, you messed something up. We're going to redo my turn. And I was like,
Yuck.
But that's what you get when you DM sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's bound to make mistakes.
Sometimes those mistakes lead to interesting story tables or stories from the table, I should say.
Yeah.
Other times they lead to head-slapping moments.
I don't think Dungeon Mommy... So, one of my players accidentally gave themselves eye stalks. And I will tell you more of the story, but I have told DM Shin and DM Lacara how this happened and how it is a consequence of that player's own actions. But
I love the story every time. No,
my last quote in our quotes of the campaign thing. So everyone's arguing, and it became a joke for the rest of the day that player now has eye stalks, and they're gonna have to deal with that and live with their consequences and what have you. And somebody, they were like, you did this to yourself. And Grim goes, I told you this kind of shit was gonna happen to you. And Creepshow Kate yells into the mic, you did not know eye stalks were gonna happen!
Eye stalks were gonna happen. Oh my god.
But the new advantages she gains are amazing.
With eye stalks?
Yeah, she can look around corners
Oh yeah.
without
Oh,
moving
yeah.
the rest of her body.
And you cannot backstab her because you can watch her own back.
And
Her
I gave
eyes
her
are
the
on
fun.
stalks.
I gave her the fun, like she can look in 2 places at once. I think that's cool, like a chameleon.
Ooh, yeah.
I was like, I don't need. What I said when she rolled it on the table was, I don't know how to mechanically rule this, but we're gonna figure it out. And the response was, no, let me roll again. And the whole table goes, no.
Suffer.
No.
Hee hee.
But yeah, that will definitely be a topic for delving into your DMs. Not necessarily calling it make sure your players suffer, but know that they will suffer the consequences of their own actions.
No. Call it making sure they suffer.
No, honestly, for real though, because sometimes they don't get that. Oh, and I started saying this the other day because I saw it on TikTok, but like someone was like, yeah, I have something we call the crybaby rule, and whenever my players don't like something that's happening, especially if it is the consequences of their own actions, I say, don't make me enact the crybaby rule. And what the crybaby rule is, every single time they complain about something, they add another d6 of health to whatever the next monster they faces.
Oh my
Ooh, damn.
god, that's good.
And so I've said it only a few times. They've not even asked what it is, but I'm just like, hey, don't make me enact a crybaby rule, and they will get it together.
Like that.
They have an innate fear of something they don't understand yet.
Exactly. And they don't know what it is. Like I said, they have not asked.
But I do have to say, punishing players for decisions that just don't make sense. Like I had a player in one of my campaigns who decided it was just going to be fun to literally play grab ass with every single NPC that they could. And I explained to them at one point, I was like, listen, it's going to get you in trouble.
Yeah, of course.
Careful. And I rolled. I was like, the first time I was like, haha, okay, funny. Second time I was like, okay, great, ha ha ha. The third time I was like, okay, I'm gonna roll for this. And the reaction was, I was like, roll for it. He gets a nat 1. The whole bar is up in arms, and then chases them into the woods. And he's going to himself like, oh, I don't get why this is happening to me. Why would this happen? I'm like, you literally groped somebody in a room full of people and got a nat 1. So you failed to do so. This is what happens.
Yeah.
People don't
The
like
other
that
players,
shit.
The other players were just like, you're an idiot. You almost got us killed.
Absolutely.
Welcome to D&D.
Welcome to D&D. My players want to have sex with everyone and grope everyone, but it's consensually always.
Make sure it's consensual at all times in your campaigns.
Oh, it is always consensual. They're the queens of consensual everything. They actually, the last session, were complaining. They're in a place that is like, 90 to 95% elven. And so they're like, there is no variety here to flirt with. I am just surrounded by
body hair.
Yes. So like there is one tiefling at the little place that they get their rocks off. And then they're like, is there anything else? And they're like, that's a man, and is a human or elf? No. There is that guy standing in the corner though, but he's security. He doesn't like actually work here. But they rolled so well that like they flirted with him and seduced him and got this half orc to sleep with them because they're like, we're bored of elves and humans.
Was your half orc aggressive, or did you already get rid of that racist trait?
Oh, of course. I mean, he's security, no doubt, but like he was more of like the I'm gonna give you the silent treatment type of guy, and not aggressive. They're like, does he throw me around the room? And I'm like, yeah, sure. Whatever you want, man. I'm not role playing that. I always make them do a Constitution check, though.
I did. Well, I don't do con. I do performance because the person who's fucking the most in our campaign, his charisma is garbage.
Is he still broke?
Yes.
He's still broke. Oh, they got into a big fight about this earlier because during D&Dversary, these were-rats, they're basically like, yo, the goblins like smashed up our home, but they didn't find, and one of them was like, because most of them are dumb, one of them was like, but they didn't find the gold. And so Goblin Slayer and Clubs' old character, who's now like a DMPC, who both are very treasure motivated, were like, yeah, I heard there was gold. How about we can totally go check and see if you tell us where it is in your town. And the rest of the party was like, you're not robbing these people who just had their home stolen from them. And I had the DMPC be like, I mean, if we perform a service, they will pay us. It's not like we're stealing from them. But also Goblin Slayer, the one hostage that they technically saved both hostages, but then one of them died on the boat when a vial of acid hit him in the face and melted like half of his face off. And the people who were on the boat, who run the boat, were kind of like trying to be nice to the corpse and like put a tarp over it and get it ready for burial and what have you. And Goblin Slayer was like, yo! Did anybody on this boat loot that body yet? And everyone like stops what they're doing and they stare at him and he's like, how much gold in his pants? And I was like, he's got like 2 pieces of gold and maybe like 5 silver in his pants pockets. And they're like, are you desecrating a corpse in broad daylight? And Goblin Slayer's like, what do you mean desecrating? He's not going to spend the money. He's dead.
I mean, he's not wrong. It's no different than playing The Legend of Zelda and walking in someone's house and breaking a pot and getting rupees. Like, those were technically that was their money they were storing in that pot. And you're just like, not anymore, blink, my money. And you walk out of their home. Every RPG that you find money in a chest in somebody's house, you're stealing from them. So is he really wrong?
And then he was like, what else he got? I was like, his clothes. He was like, do you have anything else of value on him? I'm like,
okay, now you're going. Going deep.
He's got on his belt buckle, he's got a cow skull, because he was the head of Butterskull Ranch. Are you going to take his pants, too?
Butterskull Ranch is the best naming place ever.
It's a real location in D&D lore.
Really?
Yep.
What?
In the Forgotten Realms, Butterskull Ranch is a real place.
Oh shit! It is.
Our Butterskull Ranch doesn't exist anymore, but.
Wow! I can't believe they would desecrate a place like that.
So Goblin Slayer was like, he's gonna keep his pants on. I don't want to steal. I don't want to drop his pants. He doesn't need to be naked when you bury him or whatever you're gonna do with him.
What a good Samaritan. What a friggin' saint. Where do we be without his sage? His sage.
I think he was looking.
Yeah.
For all of you who have been here a while, you know Grimalkin is obsessed with having. This is also a Grimjack thing. He's obsessed with having guns in fantasy because he thinks if every normal person had a
Get
gun,
out of here.
they could stand up to a wizard. And we're all like, nah, dog.
No.
So one of the things I told him was like, yo, Big Al, the guy who died, that Goblin Slayer took the money out of the pants of. It's like he used to be a sheriff, and he has a gun. Presumably the goblins now have said gun. And I'm thinking Goblin Slayer was looking for the gun on his person. I'm thinking that was the player's real intention. Like, I'm gonna find that gun, I'm gonna take it so that Grim can't have it. But the gun was not on his person.
Oh.
He was a hostage. You don't let hostages keep weapons.
Of course not.
Didn't even think about that. I didn't even think about that. He is a hostage.
My players are mad because when his face did get melted, one of the other goblins was like, you shot the guy who we were going to take home so he could feed us. Now how the fuck is the army going to eat? And the rest of my party is like, they really thought this one guy was going to feed them? I was like, do you think these goblins are really good at agriculture? I don't think that's what these goblins are good at, but you guys do you.
What do you think their strong suits are? Think about that long and hard and get back to me. Guarantee it's not what you think it is.
Oh boy, oh boy. Hey boys, I hate to say it. I gotta get going too.
That's okay. But before you go, DM Lacara doesn't really have any social media, but if you want to send her a message or get a note to her, tell her something, you can always give it to one of us three and we'll pass it along. But otherwise, you can find Dungeon Mommy on her podcast, her Twitch, which will be linked in the description below if it is not already. I think it is already there. But your podcast is definitely already there. Or you can find them on Discord and or come to the Okami Kure Discord and shout out Dungeon Mommy, and Dungeon Mommy will probably appear.
Hey, that's me.
It's the only way to summon her.
And Shin can be found in many
outside
places.
Of going to Uppies.
Right. Yeah, just scream Uppies. I'm there.
The other day I was having a bad day. I just went Uppies. I felt a lift in my step. I was like, thank you. Appreciate
That was me.
Thanks, Mommy.
Thanks, Son.
You're welcome, children.
Yay! Where can they find you, DM Shin?
I lurk around the internet. Last week I streamed. Weird.
Dude, I'm so sorry.
This week I might also stream. I don't know. But if it does happen, I'm sure Okami will put the link to my Twitch page.
I think your links are in there. I re-added your Twitch link to my main list of everybody's links. And I put in Dungeon Mommy's Twitch link to my main list of links as well. So they should be popping up on all the videos from now on.
Dungeon Mommy, we're cool now.
Yeah, we are. I the other day streamed Five Nights at Freddy's and nearly shit myself.
I did sneak in for a bit of it. It was a good time.
I was there. It was fun.
I had a terrible time.
But it was genuine because I've played those games so long ago, I forgot. So seeing it through like innocent eyes. was so enjoyable because I'm like, oh, this is what I can't get out of the game any longer. I can't have this fear. I'm immune to it.
I mean, like, I played it like fucking forever ago, but like, I will never get over it.
Even better. Listen, it's streaming is about doing the random stuff that you always wanted to do, and sometimes challenging yourself.
Yeah. And sometimes that challenge is don't be a little bitch.
I was a little bitch last night. I wasn't streaming it, thank goodness for me. But I was playing Star Wars Hunters last night, and it kept pairing me with people who wouldn't step on the point in control point, to the point where I was almost in tears, screaming at the TV, "Please, I'm begging you, give me someone with feet that walk towards the point." And then it paired me up with people who didn't walk towards the point, and I just turned the game off mid-match. I was like, I can't do this. You can't do this to me tonight.
Okami witnessed me have a similar reaction a week ago. We were playing Hawked.
Yeah.
We were playing a game on PlayStation called Hawked, and it paired us with a third random person. And Okami and I are in a voice chat together. We don't communicate with the random person because both of us have the same fear of it being a small child that is going to start asking us a collection of questions we just don't care to answer. This guy decided, as we're trying to open the vault to get the artifact so we can leave the game, he's shooting everything wrong. And at one point, I'm trying to shoot it and show him that, like, oh, I can do it. You don't have to do this anymore. He still continues to mess me up because you have to do it in a certain order. The order is right in front of us, and we are the only people here. At a certain point, other teams start pouring in, and we start to kill them. But we're still waiting to open the door because Doofus here, and I will call him Doofus because he is dumb. Doofus here is in front of the door just firing wildly. And so I switched to game chat for the first time ever in this game. And I go, I swear on everything, if you hit one more icon on this fucking door, I will end you. I will uninstall this game for you, and I will delete your account. Back the fuck away from the door. And the guy stopped shooting and backed away from the door.
The worst part was he aimed down sights looking at the door. So I ran in front of him and started jumping up and down, just in case.
He knew that he had channeled from me and I channeled Okami's rage.
Yeah.
Yes.
It worked. We got the artifact. We got out the game. But like, as soon as we got the ability to get out of the game, I was like, "We're gone."
Yeah.
We're gone. I was like, "I'm out of here. I can't play. I can't play with this guy."
Nope.
I think we blocked him.
Yeah. Nope. Mm-mm. Not doing that again. Nope.
He's not doing it.
Listen, some people just the neurons fire, but just off into the distance.
Yep, that's a good way to put it. But yes, thank you all for coming and chatting with us. Feel free to leave your comments. Do put in suggestions for the name of the angry raccoon. We will contemplate them. We still don't have a name for him yet. I'm not keeping him as Racky. The button I put on the stream deck for him is Racky just because it was short. But that's not his name. Man, I'm really proud of him and Murmur, even though, like, obviously there's still some stuff that needs to be cleaned up. Like, I learned how to do this. and I'm happy about it.
You're so cool.
I know. I might
Look at
actually
you
be cool.
expanded.
But yeah, no vote for what the next episode will be because we still have some classes to go through. So we're gonna pick up with Paladin next week, and then we'll keep going through them. We might hit
Woo!
2 of them again. This was a special. We were waiting for DM Lacara because she has many feels about Monk. Because this is
Oh yeah.
this is something she's currently playtesting in the game that I'm playing with her. And
Ooh.
like
They hate it.
it sucks. Yeah. Not her favorite thing ever. Definitely not.
Oh, she's not a fan of the new
Oh no,
monk?
not at all. She hates it.
Oh no.
Hates it.
Well, rip to that.
Yep. Hopefully Paladin picks things up. None of us really like what they did to Monk.
Yeah.
Oh,
I've seen better.
Yep.
The nice
Yes.
thing about this edition is you can kind of just choose to ignore it if you want.
Yep. We said before, there's plenty of people who are going to say we have D&D at home and
Yeah.
not move to 5.5.
Yeah.
No,
We do have D&D at home.
I'm strongly in the we have D&D at home camp right now. Because nobody wants to deal with this.
Mm-mm. Nope. But we'll be back next Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern for more DM Roundtable. You know where to find us if you want to talk to us. In the meantime, so I'm going to kill Twig
Yay!
first. Goodbye, Fist. I love you. And whoever else is in the chat, I also love you. Oh, it's you
Later.
guys. I love you so much.
Love you too.
We're
Goodbye,
always here.
Twitch. And now...
Adios, internet.